presentation of the SoCon Sports Network.
After two heartbreaking losses, Chattanooga looks for their first conference win, but they face the #1 team in the country, the Georgia Southern Eagles. It's the Mocs and Eagles in a Southern Conference showdown right now. We are live in the college football crazed town of Statesboro, Georgia at Paulson Stadium for the top-ranked Georgia Southern Eagles and number 23 Chattanooga. It's week 2 of our SoCon Sports Network game of the week. Hello, everyone. Along with Doug Chapman, a former Marshall University running back, I'm Darren Goldwater. Georgia Southern comes into this game at 4-0. But, Doug, this game might be more important for a Chattanooga team that came into the year with very high expectations.
Very, very high expectations. You look at them in the conference right now, they're 0-2, could easily be 2-0. Two tough losses, one to Appalachian State, last week to the Citadel. This is a team that had very, very high hopes, was looking to come in and make a lot of noise in the conference, but they find themselves 0-2. To say they're a desperate team would not be an understatement.
And it's tough to be a desperate team and taking on a Georgia Southern team that leads the country in scoring. They're also the #1 ranked rushing offense, and it all starts with Jay Beauchamp.
Jay Beauchamp is the point man for this triple option attack. He distributes the ball to the right ball carrier, makes the proper read, can also throw the ball when he has to. 37 pass attempts, not a lot, but 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. You want to talk about passing, though. You look at Chattanooga, B.J. Coleman, 6'5", 220 pounds, strong arm quarterback. He's averaging 254 yards passing per game, 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions as well, and has also been sacked 14 times. That's going to be an issue because Georgia Southern can get after the quarterback. They're going to have to protect him today to keep him upright to come out here with a victory.
Georgia Southern not only can get after the quarterback, they lead the Southern Conference in sacks. Georgia Southern and Chattanooga, a rematch of Chattanooga's victory last year, coming up next on the SoCon Sports Network. Freedom taking flight over Paulson Stadium. And Freedom did not come down. Maybe a bad omen for this #1 Georgia Southern Eagle team as they still search for the Eagle, a pregame ritual very unique to this level of football at the FCS level. Paulson Stadium, though, meanwhile, Doug, is rocking. They have been rocking all year and even going back to last year for good reason. This is a Georgia Southern team that's #1 in the country. They've put up some outstanding numbers.
They've put up outstanding numbers. You talk about it, they're rocking because they're back to what they're used to doing. The option is back in Statesboro. They're back to doing what they do, and they're putting up big numbers in the option. You know, this is what they do here at Georgia Southern, and they're expecting big things this season.
Let's check in with the third member of our crew, Rashawn Ali.
All right, thank you so much, Darren. And I'm standing at the bust of the late, great Irk Russell. Now, Georgia Southern football is synonymous with Irk Russell. In just 8 seasons, he led his team to an 83-22-1 record. He led them to the 1AA championship game 4 times, winning 3. Now, before each and every home game, the players come here and kind of honor him. They look in his eyes and they say their own words to Irk Russell. I don't know what they say, but I know his motto was just one more time. The Eagles are thinking just one more time today. Darren?
One more time for Georgia Southern would be a 5th straight week at #1 for this Eagles club as we take a look at the series history between the Mocs and Eagles. Mocs got the better of Georgia Southern last year in a relatively high-scoring game. They were able to run the ball effectively, but it's been tough going throughout the years. For a Chattanooga team that came into this year with high expectations and got off to a great start, including a win over 10th-ranked Jacksonville, as Nick Pollard gets week 2 of our SoCon Sports Network Game of the Week underway, sailing one into the end zone. Jay Beauchamp gets the start for Georgia Southern. His younger brother Connor Shaw threw 3 touchdown passes in the first half earlier today for the South Carolina Gamecocks. And it's the senior here, Shaw, who transferred in from Georgia Tech. He's been running the option ever since he's been in college and was one of the top dual threat quarterback recruits in the country coming out of high school at Flowery Branch. And what you'll see today from this option team, similar to Wofford, they are very multiple in what they can do. Jonathan Bryant in motion. Jerick McKinnon, who did not play last week because of a broken hand, gets the opening carry. Stopped by the league's leading tackler, Ryan Consiglio, as we take a look at the starting lineups for the Georgia Southern Eagles. The offensive line is anchored by all 5 men who are all returning starters, including the All-American at right tackle, Brett Moore. For the backs and receivers, a lot of different players will touch the ball. Robert Brown is the sophomore who didn't start last week at the B-back position, but still ran for 116 yards. It is 2nd down and 8 for Jabo Shaw. And this Eagles team looking at 9 men in the box, and they'll run right at it and get up to the 25-yard line as Davis Tull was in on the stop, bringing up 3rd down and 5 against the Chattanooga Mocs defense that looks like this, with 3 freshmen on the defensive line, along with Williams at the end, the all-time sack leader at Chattanooga. Consiglio, the outside linebacker, leads the league in tackles. And in the back, Jordan Tippett has 9 career picks, tied 6th most in UTC history with his head coach, Russ Huesman. Chattanooga defense, which has been very good all year with the exception of the second half. Last week against the Citadel, gives up a 1st down run to Robert Brown, who works his way up close to the 34 on a carry of 9 yards.
And Robert Brown is the leading rusher on this team, but they like to spread that ball around. They've got about 8 or 9 guys that they'll put in. Robert Brown is the B-back position. He's the one you see with his hand on the ground directly behind the quarterback, gets the bulk of the carries. North and south runner, but very athletic. Once he gets into the secondary, he can make guys miss and take it the distance.
Brown on pace to be the first back-to-back 1,000-yard rusher at Georgia Southern since Jermaine Austin did it, 2002, 2003, and he's only a sophomore. Jabo runs the option to the left side, will keep it himself. A tough running senior gets all the way up close to midfield before Consiglio and Kadeem Wise combine on the stop.
You don't get to see Jabo Shaw throw the football a lot. He's a dual threat quarterback. He can actually run very, very well. You see he reads the defensive end. Defensive end comes to the pitch man. He keeps the ball. Not the fastest guy, but can get the job done when he has to run.
You could very well see a few different guys take snaps at quarterback for Georgia Southern. One who we don't expect to see is Jerick McKinnon, although he's already been in as a slot back. Jabo's 2nd rushing touchdown of the year was actually last week in the victory over Elon, a game in which Georgia Southern actually trailed early on. It's the first and only time they have trailed all year, as Brown is stopped in the backfield by Consiglio, who has been in on at least 3 stops. It'll bring up 2nd down and about 10 and a half.
And Consiglio is very, very active. He comes up, makes a lot of plays. They're going to have to really watch him from his linebacker position, because with this offense, it's a man-blocking scheme. He'll shoot the gap, get in between guys, and if they can't find a way to block him, it's going to be a long afternoon for Georgia Southern.
Consiglio had 10 tackles last week. 12th time in his career he has had double-digit stops. Chattanooga faced the option last week, and Russ Huesman told us it's better preparation for their defense than it was for Georgia Southern, watching it on film and deciding how they would attack it. Jabo Shaw loses the football. Consiglio scoops it up, and Chattanooga takes the turnover.
And just as we talk about Consiglio, he's Johnny on the spot with falling on that fumble. But you see Shaw, he pivots out. His pitch man is McKinnon with the cast on. He goes down. Not sure if the ground may have caused that, but you've got to protect that ball when you're going. And that ball definitely is out before he hits the ground. Big play for University of Tennessee Chattanooga.
That is the 16th fumble that the Mocs defense has forced. It is the 16th time that Georgia Southern has fumbled. They've now lost 8 of them. And certainly, if Chattanooga wants to win this football game, they need to take advantage of their opportunities. We get a look at B.J. Coleman, the Tennessee transfer, and the 1st down carry is straight through the middle. You see Coleman's numbers. 6 interceptions and 6 touchdowns. He wants a better ratio than that. He is better than those numbers would indicate, Doug.
He's a lot better. We talked about it earlier. He's been sacked 14 times. Some issues in the offensive line. Very talented young man with a big-time arm. If he can get time to sit back there and get on page with his wide receivers, especially Joel Bradford, we know what he can do from the wide receiver position. But You have to have some consistency offensively.
Brent Russell will get credited for that sack as we take a look at the starting lineup for Chattanooga. Taylor Dodds, the starting left tackle, replaces a 3-year starter, Chris Harr, and it's a freshman who has to protect the blind side of this pass-happy B.J. Coleman. The backs and receivers now. Chris Awa gets the start a couple of years ago, was an all-freshman team member. We're down in 11 now for Chattanooga. They need the 46-yard line of Georgia Southern. And after changing the play, Coleman has 3 seconds to get the snap off, and the only one who didn't get the signal was Patrick Sutton, his redshirt freshman center.
For the snap, false start, 73 offense, 5-yard penalty. Remains third down.
First time we've heard from Steve Marlowe, same officiating crew we had last week.
Hey, that's what happens when you have youth up front. Now, you can't coach experience. You can coach the guys up, but you can't coach game experience. And sometimes these younger guys get in situations. It's a big game for UTC, and they get in these situations and they don't perform as well as you'd like them to right away. And that's just a mental mistake by the center.
This will be one of the tougher environments Chattanooga plays in all year. Any team that comes to Georgia Southern, you can say the same thing. They're expecting in excess of 23,000 today, which would be a season high. Coleman has time to set his feet, looking for his top target, Bradford, and it's out of his reach.
And, you know, that's been some of the issues with UTC's offense is teams have been able to tee off on them and then sit back in coverage when it's obvious passing down. 3rd and long situation, you know, they're going to the air. And Georgia Southern just rushes their front four and drops everyone off in coverage, really takes away anything that UTC wanted to do in the air. And that's been some of their issues this year, is they've put themselves in 3rd and long situations where they've become one-dimensional.
So after getting the fumble, Chattanooga goes backwards 6 yards. And it's Joel Bradford who punts and gets a fantastic roll out of it. Instead of Mike Hammonds, the traditional punter, it's Bradford who rolls one down to the 9-yard line, and he'll pin Georgia Southern deep in their own end after a 52-yard punt. We're scoreless at Paulson Stadium on the SoCon Sports Network.
This is the nation's 5th oldest conference. Established the first conference basketball tournament.
On campus at Georgia Southern, tucked away in Statesboro, Georgia. Not a big town, and it is a football crazy town. A football Saturday here is the same as a football Saturday in any college town that you can think of. You can even go on the bigger scale, a small NFL town, Green Bay. They love their Eagles down here, but Georgia Southern will be pinned at their 9 as they start their second possession.
You know, it's actually, sometimes football is just better in these small towns. And there's not much going on Saturday, so everyone comes together on a nice day like today, comes out and watches a little football. What else would you rather be doing, Darren?
Nothing. Doug, nothing at all. And we get to do it again next week.
Exactly.
We'll be right back here.
Yep.
Robert Brown is the B-back. Backs up as we talk about him. That's Nico Hickey in motion. And J.J. Wilcox, a physical running A-back, who will be happy to run through you and does just that across the 15-yard line for a carry of 7 yards.
And in this offense, the A-backs are the backs that are flanked that you usually see go in motion, and they're usually smaller backs. Wilcox is not that. He goes at about 6 feet, 215 pounds, and you see him finds a hole, and then he just makes guys miss and then drags the defenders with him. Very, very physical runner. Will run you over as well as run by you. Very, very big backs in this style of offense.
He and Jonathan Bryant, another slot back, were teammates at Cairo High School. And this is through the middle to Robert Brown, and he is stuffed by the combination of Josh Williams and Devin Skates.
And UTC has to do that. They've got to eliminate that short dive from the B-back. They've got to keep Brown contained, not allow him to make the middle of that defense so soft, because if they can do that, then Georgia Southern will have their way with them this afternoon.
Despite getting into the backfield, Brown was still able to fall forwards and picked up a yard. It'll be 3rd down and 2. And what is the second possession for Georgia Southern? Jabo Shaw fumbled on the Chattanooga side of midfield in the opening possession. And now the quarterback will give it off to Brown, who's got a first down run. Tackled by Gunnar Miller up top, the Chattanooga native who had 6 tackles last week, the sophomore.
And if you watch this style of offense, I'm telling you, they do so much with formation and send people in motion that it just takes one man out of position to make a huge play happen. You can see that Brown was brought down, but if he'd have gotten out of that arm tackle, there wasn't really much there. There was a gap there. He could have taken it to the house. This offense is very, if you're defensively not sound in your assignment, they'll burn you.
And that's what Chattanooga saw last week. They gave up over 200 yards on the ground to the Citadel in the second half alone, and watched a 27-0 lead disappear in the loss. Shaw going deep, and it is just out of the reach of Kentrellis Showers, the redshirt freshman.
We talked about formation. They run it in the middle, try to get it on the perimeter. Then they come out in a run formation, and they throw the football. And many times you'll see receivers will either be wide open or have just man coverage because they have to commit so many defenders to the run that the secondary is, there really isn't a secondary. There's man-to-man coverage, and many times you see these receivers have huge receptions in an offense like this.
So it brings up 2nd down and 10. And it is Robert Brown through the middle. Gunnar Miller bounces off of him as Brown has 12 yards on the first down run.
And that's just classic Georgia Southern football right there. Turn around, hand the ball to that B-back, and he just gets north and south very, very quickly. Brown has been very, very efficient in this offense, going on year number 2. Great play by Georgia Southern.
This Eagles offense leads the country at the FCS level in rushing, 387 yards per game. Brown already has 30 yards on just 6 carries. It's a Chattanooga defense that has been pretty good against the run also. First carry, beg your pardon, it's the second for Wilcox, and Davis Tull, the redshirt freshman defensive end, on the stop after about a 2-yard gain.
Not just that, an option, playing against an option attack just wears you out, especially your defensive front, because these guys are getting cut. Every play they're getting blocked, taken, sometimes cut low, and defensive linemen really don't like to play against this style of offense because it's a very physical. The offensive linemen in this type of offense are very, very physical. You'll see UTC does a great job not staying blocked on that play, but they're going to have to be very, very active to stop Georgia Southern.
Jeff Monken has talked about that. You know, he, as the coach, can nitpick for his top-ranked team as Darian Robinson is strung down by Wes Dothard, shy of the 40-yard line. Monken says he wants his linemen to stay on blocks a little bit longer. That was one of the things he stressed to us as an area of improvement. Don't just get to the first level and block the guy. Keep on going.
Keep going, because it's a man blocking scheme. Coming off the ball, it's not really a zone blocking scheme that you see as popular in football, but it's a man blocking scheme. He wants his guys to stay on his man longer.
Russ Schussman's defense has only given up 152 yards a game on the ground. Trying to defend a 3rd down and 5 as Jonathan Bryant in motion with the pitch. Robinson the lead blocker, but Dothard catches up and stops him shy of a first down.
That's a great job by Wes Dothard coming from his inside linebacker position. He just tracks the play and gets over there. You like to see linebackers that can move side to side like that very, very well. Great play by Dothard.
He is the Southern Conference Athlete of the Month on the defensive side of the ball, and for good reason. Career high 12 tackles last week. 3rd straight game he has set a career high in tackles. And he makes back-to-back stops to bring out Charlie Edwards. This punt will tie him for the most punts in Georgia Southern history, and it is a boomer that Bradford will take back at the 14-yard line. That is the 179th punt of Charlie Edwards' career. And Chattanooga, after the 52-yard bomb, will start at their own 15 in a scoreless game. Paulson Stadium, the site of the #1 ranked Georgia Southern Eagles. Capacity of 18,000, yet they're averaging over 20 this year. And it'll be Chattanooga's second possession on an afternoon in the upper 70s. We've got winds at about 14 miles an hour. right now at the backs of this pass-happy offense. And B.J. Coleman, a former 4-star recruit. Chris Awa across the 15-yard line up to the 17, stopped by John Douglas. As we get a look at the starting defense for the Georgia Southern Eagles. Douglas, who just made that stop, had an interception last week. He was actually a fullback at Auburn before he transferred here. The linebackers led by Josh Rowe in the middle. First team All-Southern Conference. And in the back, you've got Deion Stanley playing for Derek Hyden, who is out indefinitely after fracturing the C1 vertebrae, but he is here wearing a halo, back in classes. We'll have more on that as the broadcast continues. Coleman to the air. Joe Bradford, his favorite target, lunges his way up close to the 30-yard line for a first down. Joe Bradford, he's put up big numbers last year. He's continuing to do it this year. Him and B.J. Coleman were actually high school teammates. You see them hooking up right here. It's good when you can have that type of chemistry. He just finds a soft spot in the zone, sits down and picks up good yardage. He's not the biggest guy. I think they have him listed at 165 pounds, which may be actually adding a few pounds to his very slight frame, but he just runs great routes, knows how to get open, and gets the job done. First time Chattanooga has moved the chains. And B.J. Coleman, they want to get it out of his hands quickly. They do in the flat to Chris Awa. A first down for Awa, tackled by Hudson Presime, the senior corner. And Awa's a playmaker. If they can find ways to get that young man the football, that's what they've got to do this evening. But you see, boots out, rolls out, pivots out, and turns around, finds Awa on the flats. They've got, like you said, they've got to get that ball out of his hands quickly, because when he's been back there trying to find receivers in downfield, his offensive line has often let him down. He's been sacked 14 times this season. So quick passes are definitely on the menu for UTC. This is a team that wants to run the ball better than they have. They have really been struggling in that category, and they'll try and find creative ways to do it, like a reverse to their freshman, Ron Moore. And Georgia Southern isn't fooled at all. He is slammed down. His forward progress will be at the 35-yard line, a loss of 7. I'm sure the play was designed well, but you can't run this type of play against a Georgia Southern defense with this much speed. You have to go north and south if you're going to run the football. Going east and west, they just have too much speed at every level. The defensive front, linebackers, and secondary. You can't get the corners on this defense very easily. Brent Russell, the All-American, 66. Asking for the fans to get back involved. They were very loud on the opening possession for Chattanooga. There's 1 second. They didn't get that off in time. And the crowd may have been a factor there.
Delay of game, offense number 19, 5-yard foul, second down.
So a loss of 7. Tack on 5 yards on the penalty after that. Russ Huesman, in his 3rd year here, was a defensive coordinator at Richmond. Helped to win a national title a few years ago. And was hired right after that. Good pocket for Bradford, who throws high for Bradford. Josh Rowe right there. And that's just very well covered by Georgia Southern. They were in a man coverage on that play and just keeping everything in front of them, breaking on the ball. Didn't give the quarterback anywhere to throw. They're down in 22 for an offensive line that has had trouble this year playing into Georgia Southern tanks. Yeah, these you don't want to give your quarterback 3rd and 22, because that's when they can tee off and get to him. Almost did right there. Has to throw it at the feet of Marlon Anthony. And Chattanooga will punt once again. Yeah, we talked about it. 3rd and long, obvious passing downs. We know how good Georgia Southern is getting after the quarterback. And when you put them in a situation where they can just pin their ears back and go after him and not have to worry about the run, you see what happens. They get pressure, ball ends up having to be thrown short. Now they've got to punt again. And it's Joe Bradford again to punt. Mike Hammonds is 2nd in the conference, averaging 40 yards per kick. We'll do what we can to figure out if he is okay. Jonathan Bryant having trouble scooping it up, and a great special teams tackle made downfield by DJ Key. 2:17 left in the first quarter. Here in Statesboro, where the enrollment is pushing up on 20,000. The fans here have been coming out in larger numbers than that. Not only Rob Baronis, but Adrian Peterson played football here.
Yeah, the other Adrian Peterson.
That's right.
Yeah.
Not the Vikings running back Adrian Peterson, the one who had success with the Bears. That's a delay of game for Georgia Southern.
Timeout, Georgia Southern, their first timeout of the first half.
So they got the
This will be a
timeout just
30-second
before that.
timeout.
Jeff Munkin, whose team was sitting at 4-4 last year and was down 14-0 to Appalachian State, nearly went down 21-0. Touchdown was called back, and ever since that point, and an interception that followed by Ron Scott, this Georgia Southern team has been rolling. Now in his second year, Munkin is 14-5. And you see they started last year well before hitting a little bit of a slide to fall down to 4-4, but Doug, the big difference.
Look at the points per
There you
game.
go.
Look at that. I mean, 34 points per game isn't bad, but now they're 46.5 points per game. That's a huge jump in offensive production.
And the majority of their opponents have been Southern Conference opponents, 3 of their 4 opponents, and yet their margin of victory is still that high. Another fumble. Shaw has to jump down on it inside of the 15 with Zach Rail bearing down on him.
And that's one of the only things when you run this triple option attack that there's so much ball movement, and you'll see the quarterback, he rides him into Brown's belly. I think he thought Brown was supposed to take that football. And you see that's what can happen when there's so much ball movement and the quarterback has to put the ball on one player, ride him in, pull it out, pitch it. That's what can happen. A lot of turnovers can happen in this offense if you're not careful.
Ball security's been an issue. They've lost one fumble. That's a forward pass, so it is not a live ball. But ball security's been an issue. They lost a fumble. Jonathan Bryant on the punt fumbled it before scooping it back up and back down there.
And you see, look, this is a forward pass. They try a little shovel pass to Brown, try to catch the aggressive pass rush of UTC. But like you said, ball handling has got to be precise when you're running a triple option attack. They don't throw the ball a lot, so the quarterback is handling the ball and handing it off and pitching it. One bad play can turn into a UTC quick 6.
Jabo Shaw said on a local newscast last night that this Chattanooga defense is the best they have faced all year. He's looking at 3rd down and 19 now, and Consiglio knocks him down at the 15-yard line.
And Consiglio is just a tackling machine. You see him there. He was not fooled by the quarterback draw. He's watching Shaw the entire way. Shaw pulls it down. Consiglio is right there. That's what you want out of your linebackers. You want aggressive downhill players. He sees Shaw. Shaw shows a little pass, pulls it down. Consiglio is not buying it. Brings him down, forces Georgia Southern to punt.
Edwards, who had a 52-yarder earlier in the game, whose career average is over 40. I don't think Bradford ever saw it. He's late getting away from it. And it'll roll down to the 42 after a 42-yard kick. Didn't look like, Doug, that Bradford was comfortable back there.
Or maybe I think that he saw it dropping short, and he saw a lot of his own men around that ball and was just, they give usually a fire or a Peter call when that ball is around a lot of guys. And to get away, that means get away from where you are. I think he was a little unsure that ball might have hit one of his own players. Glad he didn't go for it and try to jump in there. A lot of guys, you see, try to jump in there and grab that punt.
Flag added 5 yards to that. And we get our first look now at Terrell Robinson, a redshirt freshman who has seen time at receiver this year for Chattanooga. He's the athletic option behind Coleman now. Run first, pass second. And he gets about a yard down to the 48. Josh Rowe, the junior inside linebacker, around the ankles.
And Patterson, they use the term change of pace quarterback, but you see them bringing him out. You're going to bring him in for one play. Don't just give him a little off-tackle play. You want to get a guy like that on the perimeter and some space. And kind of just bringing him in and kind of falling forward over that B gap doesn't really make the defense really have to look for too much more. They kind of want to give that guy an entire package instead of just one play.
It's not something Georgia Southern has seen on film either. That's the first snap he's taken this year. Nichols is the regular backup quarterback. Yet they clearly were not fooled. 2nd down and 9. Play action. Great pocket for Coleman, but Bradford slipped and a flag comes out. LaRon Scott, palms to the air, likely will be whistled for this. Ron Scott did a great job blanketing Aaron Millette last week.
Pass interference, defense number 34. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Scott was in coverage of Joel Bradford. Bradford's not the biggest guy. It looked like it may have been incidental contact. Bradford goes down. The referee thought otherwise and threw a flag.
Second penalty of the game for Georgia Southern. They had one on that punt as well. And that one coming from a preseason All-American, according to the Sports Network. And Chattanooga has an opportunity here. Awa straight through the middle and maybe gets a yard as the first quarter comes to a close. Well, Chattanooga's defense has done the job. Jay Beauchamp called them the best defense that Georgia Southern has faced this year. Shaw's head coach Jeff Monken said it's the best team they've faced all year. 23rd ranked Chattanooga inside the 35 to start the second quarter next. Paulson Stadium in Statesboro, Georgia. Top-ranked Georgia Southern scoreless through a quarter with the 23rd ranked Mocs, who came in with high expectations. But as we get a look at the Southern Conference standings, you see Chattanooga, one of 3 winless teams in the Southern Conference, despite having an opportunity in Boone and last week against the Citadel. Furman is playing Samford right now. If the Paladins can win, that would set up a heck of a game next Saturday afternoon on the SoCon Sports Network as we take a look at scores around the Southern Conference. Wofford, which beat Appalachian last week on this network, jumped on the Citadel and beat them 43-14.
And that offense is a machine. They look really good. Really, really good.
There are some that are saying that Wofford and Georgia Southern, Doug, are already on a collision course as it comes to winning this league. I think it's too early to brand it that way.
It's a bit early, but watch the way both of those teams have played. It's fodder for conversation.
J.J. Jackson stopped by Riyad Jones at the 28-yard line. A run of 4. It'll set up 3rd down and 5.
Let's see what UTC can put together here with good field position right now. Let's see if they can string together a drive to put some points on the board. Both teams have given the other team opportunities with turnovers and not being able to get off the field on 3rd down. So see if they're able to turn this around and get something done here.
Wind blowing into the face of B.J. Coleman, who has to hurry here. 7 seconds on the play clock. He's got 2, and with 1 just gets it off. For Marlon Anthony, and it's broken up by Riyad Jones. Check it, it's LaRon Scott with a flag down in the backfield as well.
I think they hit the quarterback a little late on that one.
It's a 10 defense, 15-yard penalty, first down, 10.
That's Josh Rowe, a junior. So 2 veterans have made mistakes on this Chattanooga drive for the Georgia Southern defense. LaRon Scott with the pass interference, now the late hit.
you know, you hate to see that because it was a great play by Scott defensively on that, stepping in front of the slant, batting the ball down. Then on the back end of it, you've got Josh Rowe. You never want to tell a linebacker to not be aggressive and make plays, but you have to be a little smart about it when you get back there to the quarterback and not rough him up after he's delivered that football.
Back to Terrell Robinson, the redshirt freshman quarterback here. First trip into the red zone for either team, and Chattanooga moved.
Before the snap, false start. 53 offense, 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Doug, this has been an area of concern for Chattanooga. Special teams have been tough, and so has red zone, where they have 9 touchdowns in 19 trips.
And that comes from a lack of being able to run the football. When you get down there and you're not running it well, you can't always throw it into the end zone. It's actually harder to throw it in there than it is to run it in there when you get close down to the end zone. See if they can change that up this afternoon.
They need to take advantage of their opportunities. There's a gaping hole for Robinson, who works his way down inside the 15 for 6 yards.
Robinson's that change of pace quarterback that they bring in like the run packages, but I like to see him, have a little threat of a pass back there. You see him pull it down, design quarterback draw, picks up good yardage. He's still out on the field. Let's see if they can mix it up and get some points out of this drive.
J.J. Jackson is the deep back. To Heron Tyson, the fullback. Robinson lost it on the turf, and Georgia Southern jumps on it. It's Justice Ejike, the redshirt freshman from Covington, Georgia, on the fumble recovery.
And that just goes, you have a guy that's not used to playing quarterback. Gets down here and doesn't, you can see his hands he wasn't even all the way underneath the center. You can see it from the start. He wasn't even all the way underneath and pulls out much too quickly. The pulling guard comes around, knocks him out of the way, ball goes forward. Georgia Southern catches the break.
I'll tell you what, defenses have been the story. Georgia Southern with 61 total yards, Chattanooga with 31 total yards. Chattanooga defense that is 6th in the country in total yards allowed. Jabo on the late pitch to his B-back Robert Brown, and he's got the sideline. Brown into Chattanooga territory. Still on his feet, being chased by Gunnar Miller, who takes him down inside of the 20. 58 yards.
And just like that, that's the suddenness of this offense. Jabo Shaw keeps it to his left, picks it to Brown. Brown does the rest. You see him get down the sideline, shows good speed, good vision, cuts back. Look at the blocking downfield by the wide receivers of Georgia Southern. You love to see that in this type of offense. Patrick Barker, among others, leading the way for those running backs. Big play for Georgia Southern.
Give Brown 10 extra yards there, 68 yards. And now they change it up with the freshman back and the freshman of the week, Derek Swope.
Most teams have about 2 or 3 backs they'll put in there. Georgia Southern has a stable of backs. You'll see 8 or 9 ball carriers carry the football for the guys in blue today. And they just rotate them in and out, and they all can get the job done.
Dominique Swope, Jeff Munkin said, is a lot like Robert Brown was as a freshman last year. If you look at him and his body and his physique, you'd never know that he was a freshman. 6 feet, 210. Jabo Shaw gets drilled by Wes Dothard, and he's going to lose a yard, maybe 2.
When you watch that play and you say, why does he keep that ball? But if you see Jabo, he goes to his right, he's covered. His assignment man had him, and his pitch man as well was covered. So if he pitched that football, he knows in his head there's a possibility that pitch going awry, ended up on the ground. Just keep the ball, take the 1-yard loss, or get back to the line of scrimmage and live to fight another day. Smart play. Doesn't look like much, but when you run the option, sometimes that's how it works out for you.
3rd down and 9. They need the 8-yard line. And Georgia Southern moved.
Before the snap, false start, 77 offense, 5-yard penalty. Remains third down.
Blake DeBartola started 9 games, played in all 15 last year. He's a big 270-pounder from Fayetteville, Georgia.
Seems like both teams can't get out of their own way penalty-wise. They get down in scoring range and shoot themselves in the foot. UTC did with a turnover and penalties, and right now Georgia Southern suffering from the same symptoms. There's a penalty on them as well.
Combine the two teams for 44 yards in penalties. Here's Dominique Swope on the delay. Swope with a seam. Swope, touchdown Georgia Southern.
Just like that, they can do so much out of this offense. They run the option out of a shotgun, a little underneath misdirection draw. Swope gets the ball underneath, he just does the rest himself, makes guys miss. I think they only touched his shoes on the way, and he had 2 or 3 hands on his feet during that play, but he made a few guys miss. They speak very highly of this young man, just a freshman. Some big things from him.
Had a rushing and receiving touchdown last week as Adrian Mora boots through his 120th consecutive extra point. He's never missed in his entire career. Chattanooga played Georgia Southern scoreless through a quarter and gave up a 68-yard run to then set up this 22-yard scamper from the freshman Dominique Swope, and Georgia Southern has the lead. 7-0 Georgia Southern, top-ranked team in the land, trying to move to 5-0. Here's how the touchdown happened, Doug.
Look at it. Good old-fashioned Georgia Southern football. Nothing fancy. They come out. Jabo Shaw goes to his left, starts off, pitches to Brown. Brown does the rest, gets down that left sideline. You see him looking inside. Good blocks by his wide receivers, led by Barker down there. 68 yards on that pickup, but then they run the misdirection draw to Swope, and he does the rest. Gets in the secondary, makes people miss, takes it in for 6 points. Just like that, they turn the option into a fast break offense. 2 minutes, 11 seconds on that scoring drive, and in 4 plays, Georgia Southern's up by 7.
And it started with a Chattanooga fumble in the red zone. Billy Greer handles the kickoffs. Chaz Moore deep. And Chattanooga will begin at the 20. Doug, Georgia Southern's numbers have been impressive, but they've been getting better as the games have gone along. They've been close in the first and second quarter, and then they just wear you down and wear you down. Chattanooga needs to play sounder football, and particularly in the red zone when they have their chances.
And I think it's that style of offense Georgia Southern plays. They beat you up offensively. They're very good defensively, and they just wear you down. And by the fourth quarter, you don't have much left. I believe in the fourth quarter, Georgia Southern was outscoring opponents 51-13. They just wear teams out for 3 quarters, and they still got something left in the tank in the fourth.
This is Graham Nichols now, the third quarterback used. Gives it off to Awa, and Russell drops him back for a 5-yard loss.
I'm not sure why they're shuffling these quarterbacks in, because they haven't found a rhythm with one of them yet. See here, that's just bad blocking up front. Russell just gets penetration to the backfield, barely blocked, brings down the ball carrier. The best way to stop the running game is penetration. And Russell shows you on that play how to do it.
This is the 5th career action for Nichols, who has been a backup to B.J. Coleman now for 2 years. And Nichols throws high, and Awa can't hang on as he is plowed by LaRon Scott.
It's a great play by Scott, just breaking on the ball. Scott is a very, very aggressive DB. Got a foul on him for pass interference earlier, but he makes a lot of plays. He's a ball hawk back there. You see he just breaks on the ball and jars the ball loose from the ball carrier.
Nichols stays in on 3rd down and 15. Pressure coming right in his face, and he is dropped. It's John Douglas the transfer from Auburn, who takes him down at the 8.
And you can't do this against this Georgia Southern team. You can't put yourselves in third down situations, third and long, because they're too good up front. UTC cannot block them. They can't block them for a 5-step, 7-step drop for your quarterback. So you've got to find ways, if you're an offensive coordinator, to get yourself in positions where you're not in third and long, where it's obvious passing downs, because they have not had success this afternoon at all.
Still Bradford punting. And he sends Bryant back. Makes a tough catch and then makes a miss. Bryant inside of the 40-yard line. And Georgia Southern has excellent field position at the 36 of Chattanooga as we check in with Rashawn Ali for an update on Georgia Southern's Derek Hyden.
All right, thank you so much, Darren. Yes, I am here with Derek Hyden. And as you see, the players here today are honoring Derek Hyden with the number 4 decal. He suffered a non-life-threatening spinal injury against Western Carolina September the 24th. Now, Derek, I know that you're doing much, much better, but can you take us back to that day? What were you feeling on that particular play?
You know, I was just playing with the team. It's a team game, and I was just doing my responsibilities. And, you know, it was a freak accident, but it's part of the game. And, you know, it's been a struggle the past few weeks, but it gets better every day. And, you know, I'm just thankful it could have been worse. And I'm just thankful I'm able to walk around and all that. So I just got to be thankful for that.
Now, you just returned to class where you're studying business management. What was that day like when you returned to class?
To be honest, I didn't really want to go out there. You got this Frankenstein thing on, the halo. You got people to, hey, look at that. But you get used to it. I really don't care anymore. It's something I can't control. I can't change right now. I just got to make the changes and adapt. So this is what I'm stuck with for the next 3 months.
Well, you know what? You have served as an inspiration for this team. How has that been for you personally?
It's great. The community's been great. The team, the coaches. I've gotten so much support, and it really is great. Like I don't think there's a closer team out here than this Georgia Southern team, and I just can't thank them enough for the support they gave me.
Well, thank you so much, and good luck with everything, okay? All right, back to you, Darren.
Thank you very much, Rashad. You see Tyler Sumner there. He is one of the roommates for Derek Hyden. He helps clean out those screws. And it's not just cumbersome, it's a lot of work. And if not for his teammates and his friends, you don't get through something like that.
No, you don't. That's the bond of, in sports, you get that bond. Your teammates, they turn into your family, your brothers. When one guy goes down, it affects everybody. You'd love to see that when teammates step up and help their brother out.
First down run for Brown, stopped by DJ Key at the 21. As a former player, were you ever on a field when something like that happened? If so, what's it like to be on a sideline watching a teammate or an opposing player?
Well, I mean, I've been in situations in college where I've had teammates go down with serious injuries, but in the NFL, former teammate of mine, Corey Stringer, passed away on the field. I just remember what that situation was like and how it was after that, and how we became closer as a team because of that. And it's part of the game. We understand what we're doing, what we're getting ourselves into out there, and that's one of the risks.
That's a fumble on the pitch. The freshman Freeman is around it on the ground, but I think Brown was able to get back on top of it. He was.
We talked about it. Ball handling in this option offense has got to be precise, and that's Brown. That's all on Brown there. Shaw delivers him a very, very good pitch. Robert Brown doesn't watch it in. He's watching the defender. You see him winding his shoulder, but may got a little nicked up on that. He was preparing himself for the hit, did not watch the pitch, and puts the ball on the ground. They're lucky they got that football back.
All things told, Chattanooga's defense has played well with the exception of the 68-yard run and then the 22-yard touchdown. One missed assignment, it results in a big play.
And their offense has to help them out a little bit, which they haven't done this afternoon.
Shovel pass to Brown. He is bottled up by the linebackers, led by Consiglio outside of the 20. Right about the original line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd down and 10.
They're trying to work that little shovel pass there this afternoon. This is the second time they've gone to it. The first time it's actually worked. There's another little wrinkle in this option offense. It's not just run, pitch. They can throw it a little bit and throw a little trickeration in there if need be.
Jeff Monken spent 5 years as an assistant to Paul Johnson when the now Georgia Tech coach was running the option here at Georgia Southern. Now Monken's team looking for their 5th 3rd down conversion of the game underneath to Wilcox. And Wilcox breaks tackles inside of the 10. He will run for the goal line and score. Touchdown, Georgia Southern. 21 yards.
We talked about it, the size and the versatility of Wilcox. And he shows you why these coaches are so high on him. He takes a little pass, but this is all him. Breaks Consiglio's tackle, puts his hand on the ground, keeps his balance. I think his run, this is called want to. You can't coach that. That play should have been stopped short of the first down. Not only does he pick up the first down, takes it in for the touchdown. Excellent play by Mr. Wilcox.
Some of the tackles he broke. Two of the top tacklers in the league, Consiglio and DJ Key. As the hard-running junior from Cairo High School puts Georgia Southern up 2 scores with 7 minutes left in the half. Wilcox on the receiving end of a touchdown for the first time this year, his 4th overall touchdown. Here's how they got to the end zone.
Once again, that option, they start off inside handoff to Robert Brown, nothing fancy. They go back to Mr. Brown, the shovel pass. He picks up some tough yardage inside. And J.Bo Shaw shows he can throw the football a little bit. Delivers a nice pass to J.J. Wilcox. He does the rest on his own. Just gets north and south, breaks tackles, runs over defenders, stretches out for the touchdown. And that's the difference in this football game.
And that right there is Freedom the Eagle, who...
He's back.
He's back. He flew away at the start of the game.
His name's Freedom, so I mean...
He tried.
Yeah.
All jokes aside, good that they have him back. Just like Auburn, they have the Eagle fly from the top of the press box down to the handler. Rear sends one back to Chaz Moore from the goal line. Moore can't get back up to the 20. It's a 17-yard return. Let's check in now with Rashawn Ali for an update on B.J. Coleman.
All right, thank you so much, guys. Yeah, I went to the sideline of Chattanooga and tried to get all the information that I could, but everyone keeps telling me that they are not allowed to comment on his condition. So whenever we get that, we'll make sure we bring it to you, guys.
All right, thank you very much, Rashawn. Without B.J. Coleman, who is on the Peyton Award watch list, it was tough enough as it was. Now down 14, it becomes that much tougher.
This is an entirely different offense without him out there. He's a precision passer, averaging over 245, 250 yards passing per game. And now you've got to rely on unproven Terrell Robinson right now, who's a freshman, to come in and get some things done.
Marquise Green had the carry there for Russ Huseman, who was the 2009 Southern Conference Coach of the Year when he came to the Mocs, taking over a team that had won 1 game in 08. And now he's got them to back-to-back winning seasons. This redshirt freshman Robinson unleashes for Bradford across the 45. That's a first down with Lavelle Westbrook's covering.
Well, you know what? If you're the freshman quarterback coming in for an all-conference guy, this is a good way to get yourself together, find the best receiver on your team, and hit him in stride. Good pass by Terrell Robinson, a little run action. Gets himself outside of the pocket. He's got good size, delivers a nice ball to Bradford. See if they can continue to hook up on this drive and get some points going.
3rd in the conference with over 87 yards a game. And Chattanooga will talk about.
Their first timeout of the first half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
For Russ Huseman's club, Doug, this becomes a pretty big drive late in the first half. They do get the ball back to start the second half, but ever since they fumbled inside of the 15, it's been all Georgia Southern. And what was a scoreless game became a 14-0 Eagle lead.
Turnovers will kill you.
SoCon Sports Network Game of the Week returns to Paulson Stadium. On first down, Robinson looking for Bradford. And Bradford was able to keep a foot in for another first down reception. This one 15 yards.
Once again, the young quarterback, Terrell Robinson, comes in and Finds a sure-handed Joel Bradford. He looks very comfortable throwing out on the run, getting outside of the pocket. We know he can run the ball, so when he breaks that pocket, he's a run-pass option. So Georgia Southern's going to have their hands full if he can light it up through the air, because we know he can run the football.
First game action at quarterback for Robinson. Now the pocket breaks down. Russell grabs him, and Robinson flips it back to Marquise Green. What a play. Another freshman, Green, dancing down towards the 30 for a first down. 20 yards on the run.
Hey, and that's how you make a play. You know, we talked about it. He can make things happen with his legs. You see him drop back, almost gets out of the grasp of the sack, does get out of it, and then flips the ball to a running back, Marcus Green, who gets out on the perimeter and makes something out of nothing. That play should have been dead in the water, and instead they pick up a huge play at first down. Move the chains. They need something offensively. That may be the spark they need to get them going.
Got to believe on Chattanooga's sideline, they watched Robinson go down, flip it. They're screaming, no.
That's the way it was drawn up.
Absolutely. He's completed both his passes on this drive. Now Robinson on the design draw will pick up a few down to the 26.
This is the first drive that UTC has had where they've been able to actually move the ball. I mean, it hasn't been the most orthodox drive, but they've been able to move the football, and whatever works is working.
It's a drive that started at their own 18. It'll be second down and 8 here. Play action for Robinson. Robinson will try and get to the outside, and he'll be very close to a first down. And I think he got it. Gain of 8.
And Robinson is bringing another wrinkle to this offense. We know what Coleman can do when he's sitting back there and can pass the football, but Robinson has shown his ability to throw the football. Now, if you're Georgia Southern, you have a quarterback that has shown that he can also do it with his legs. You know, you have to alter your coverage now, maybe use a spy, and that completely changes what's going on secondary-wise for Georgia Southern.
Again, it's a look Georgia Southern did not practice for. J.J. Jackson was hit first by Roderick Tinsley, a senior from Georgia, second team all-conference last year.
And they have had a tough time in between the tackles moving the football against Georgia Southern. They're very, very stout up front. The best defenses in Southern Conference and FCS football, period. They're showing why it's very, very tough to move the football on the ground, especially in the middle against Georgia Southern.
And then we have it again. Chattanooga in the red zone for the second time this game. It's the 21st time this year they've been in the red zone with only 9 touchdowns. Robinson's been effective on the run, but he is dropped by Rowe. Rowe was the first one to get there, and Brent Russell, the All-American, finished it off.
Talked about Robinson's ability to run, but Georgia Southern was not fooled. Very good job swarming the young quarterback. He rolls out to his right, looking downfield, sees nothing, pulls it down. As soon as he pulls it down, he's hit by a host of Georgia Southern defenders. Brings up another third and long situation for UTC.
Maybe closer to a long 9 yards. Chattanooga 0 for 3 on third down. They'll bring the pressure. Bradford brings it in inside of the 5. It's a first and goal for Chattanooga.
I tell you, I like the guts on the young freshman on that play, hanging in there. He sees the blitz coming. Robinson sees the blitz coming, and Bradford like the guts on there. Not scared to run that slant in there. Knows he might take a big shot. Robinson delivers a good ball to Bradford. Bradford's able to bring it in. Just like that, they're knocking at the door.
A lot of changes running in for Georgia Southern. They are just now getting set. Monken was screaming for a timeout, didn't get it, and it didn't matter as Jackson is stopped behind the line of scrimmage.
Once again, I talked about it, that front of Georgia Southern is, these guys are hard to move off of the football. UTC's got to find a way to run this ball better.
Let's quickly go down to Rashawn. Another update on B.J. Coleman.
All right, thank you so much. Chattanooga's quarterback, B.J. Coleman, is out with a shoulder injury. Return unknown. Darren?
Great job, Rashawn. Second leading passer in Chattanooga history in the locker room. A redshirt freshman taking his place and trying to give Chattanooga their first points of the game. Gets away from Russell. Robinson scores. Touchdown, Chattanooga. First career touchdown from Terrell Robinson.
Just like that, an added wrinkle to UTC's offense. Robinson comes in and shows a little bit of throwing the ball, being able to run the football as well. You see him takes a snap. This is all the way quarterback draw design. Gets down there, good size. He's got good size on him. Goes at 6'3", 195. Uses that big frame to fall through the tackle of the Georgia Southern defender. Gets his team on the board.
And a 10-play, 77-yard drive that lasted over 7 minutes, engineered by Robinson, cuts Georgia Southern's lead in half. And what a big momentum-swinging drive that can be, although Georgia Southern still with 1:50, and they've got the ability for quick strikes.
Oh, they do, but that has to be, if you're UTC right now, when your starting quarterback goes down, you think all is lost, but Coleman goes in what they say may be a shoulder injury. We're not sure. But your quarterback, Robinson, comes off the bench. He's got a little spot duty before that and leads a 7-minute-plus drive. That's got to give you some confidence offensively.
Stay with us. Coming up at the half, Rashawn Ali, Stephanie Singleton, they'll join us. The Southern Pride Marching Band will take the field, and we'll have C.Y. Young, Georgia Southern's basketball coach, who used to star here in Statesboro. We'll also be back in the booth, highlights, stats, and more. Plenty coming up at the half from Statesboro. But before we get there, still 1:52 left in the second. And Pollard gets one caught up in the wind, so Robinson really down on the knee when he fields. And we'll cross the 30. A 21-yard return.
You think, with 1:46 and the option type of attack that it's going to take them a while to get down the field, but they've shown, Georgia Southern has this afternoon, that they have quick strike ability. Even though they like to just run the football, they can pick up big chunks of yardage in small amounts of time. So I don't see a lot of conservative play calling. I see them just calling their regular plays right here, trying to put some more points on the board.
Eagles also with 2 timeouts, and with the only kicker in the Southern Conference who has not missed this year. In fact, he's made 9 straight going back to last year, Adrian Moore. They'll start, though, with J.J. Wilcox, who gets away from Consiglio and gets out of bounds very close to the chains.
Consiglio was in the backfield trying to get a handout for Wilcox, but we've seen Wilcox run. He runs determined. He's got good size, very, very strong. It's going to take more than a hand to bring this young man down.
He said he stepped out at the 40. Wilcox was called by Jeff Munkin. He said, if we've got a playmaker on our team, and they've got a lot of them, he said that would be one. Jabo Shaw could be another. Heads up play, cutting back against the grain for a first down to the 45.
They're running a hurry-up option attack. They're not huddling. Jabo Shaw is calling the plays once they're lined up.
Here's Wilcox again on the outside. Solid blocking out there. He'll cut it back inside for a first down. Joshua Williams, the defensive end, catches up from behind the play after a run of over 8 yards.
I really like Wilcox. You look at this great size, 6'2", 215, but look at the vision here. He runs the toss, watch his head. He's looking inside, sees the cut, gets north and south, and he's always falling forward, dragging defenders, picking up positive yardage. Very good-looking running back.
Brown gets into Dothard. This drive, Doug, you pointed it out, it isn't taking any time. It's only gone 46 seconds, and they've moved from their own 33 down inside of Chattanooga's 40.
Yeah, exactly. We've got guys like Wilcox and Brown carrying the ball. Anything can happen.
Second down and 8. Shaw nearly got away. Consiglio barely got a hand on him as Shaw ran past him. It's a first down to the 26.
There's another wrinkle in this offense. The quarterback can also keep it. Great blocking on the left side by the entire offensive line. Even Wilcox was down there as a flanker, helped seal that in. Shaw does a great job cutting back, getting inside, getting north and south. Just like that. They're moving the ball at ease.
Just about 30 seconds left. Pressure coming on Shaw, who gets popped but gets it off to Brown. Brown is tackled by Chris Lewis Harris. He gets inside of the 5 for 22 yards.
It is enough for another Georgia Southern.
They show a little toss action, find Brown out in the flats. He picks it up, gets down to almost scores it, takes it in. I'm impressed with how these running backs, how well they catch the ball out of the backfield as well. Everyone knows Georgia Southern likes to run the football, but they've done a good job developing these backs all around, blocking, running, and catching the ball out of the backfield. Very well-rounded backfield.
Great play calling on this drive. It has helped Georgia Southern go 63 yards in a minute and 23 seconds. They've still got one more timeout left. If you're Russ Huseman now and Chattanooga, you've got to be on your heels a little bit because the whole playbook, Doug, is open for Georgia Southern.
No, it's wide open. And look at offenses around the country. They run that spread style of offense, which usually is considered a quote-unquote quick strike style of offense. And when you need points in a hurry, you go to that spread style. But not here at Georgia Southern. They can score in a hurry running the triple option, and they're showing you right now how.
Robinson to the left, Swope to the right. And Jabo to put it in the air. Overshooting Jonathan Bryant. Step for step with Jordan Tippett.
I would like to see them just run it down there. I know they trying to preserve some time. Lucky the clock stops for that, but the way they've been able to move the ball just via the run, line up and give it to Brown and those backs and let them work their way into the end zone.
Chattanooga was feeling good about things a little over a minute ago. And all of a sudden, Georgia Southern knocking on the door with 19 seconds left in the half. Jabo Shaw is stuffed just shy of the goal line. Josh Freeman, the man coming in high, the freshman from Atlanta. The final hit that kept him out of the end zone as we get another look.
Shaw's not afraid to put his nose in there and try to get the tough yardage. This is a good job by UTC just playing tough goal line defense. Said it, Josh Freeman leads the way, 6 foot, 270-pound freshman from Atlanta, Georgia. Leads the way and stops Shaw at the goal line. 11.8 seconds. Let's see what Georgia State dials up in this huddle.
Doug, if you're in that huddle, let's put you on the Georgia Southern side of things right here. Plenty of time to run a passing play and then line up for a field goal if it falls incomplete. I mean, you don't have to kick here at all.
No, you don't have to kick here. You shouldn't feel, pressured like you have to kick the football. But I get behind my horses that have been blocking well all afternoon. I'm going to run this ball here.
Those horses have helped Georgia Southern run for 197 yards. Leading the way, Robert Brown, 94 yards on 11 carries. And Brown is the B-back, or the fullback here behind Jabo Shaw. It is 3rd and goal. Shaw lunges for it and scores. Touchdown, Georgia Southern. Doug, you called it.
Yeah, you've got those horses up front that have been blocking so well. You get in there, behind those guys, Bird and DeBartola and Mann and Maxwell. You just get behind those big guys and just Jabo Shaw finds a little crease. Offensive line blows UTC into the end zone. Shaw rides his offensive lineman into the end zone for 6 more points.
3 different Eagles have found the end zone, all in this second quarter. And that, Doug, is how you answer a 70-plus yard scoring drive for Chattanooga. You march down the field in a less than a minute 40 to retake a 2-touchdown lead.
Yeah, that's their 2-minute offense. Their 2-minute offense is lined up and running the option. They had less than 2 minutes on the clock when they got the football back. And, you know, like I said, most teams that you look at it and running the football is not the way you want to score when you have a little bit of time. But when you run the option as well as Georgia Southern does and as well coached as they are and as well as they can execute with the option, they can score points in a hurry, especially with these athletes they have out here, and they show you exactly how they do it.
Let's take a look at some news and notes around the Southern Conference now. Top-ranked team is in action here. Wofford, Doug, we saw him last week. They pounded the Citadel today. Georgia Southern not only leads the nation in points, but also in rushing. Greer will put it high in the air to not allow for a return. And it is Shafat who makes the catch. So, Doug, now your Chattanooga side of things and your Russ Huseman, 2 timeouts, 11 seconds. Do you even bother taking a shot?
Kneel on this ball. Kneel on it, going to halftime. You know you're coming out with a freshman quarterback second half. Let's draw some plays up in the locker room and get some offense going in the second half. They know they can move the ball. So let's not risk anything right here. Come back and fight it out in the second half.
Terrell Robinson came on in relief of B.J. Coleman. A shoulder injury, status unknown, led a Chattanooga scoring drive, but Georgia Southern marched right back in 1:36 to retake a 2-touchdown lead. And it is the top-ranked Eagles on top at the break, 21-7, thanks to 198 yards on the ground, while their defense limits Chattanooga to 31 yards rushing and just 101 total yards in the first half.
And that's just defensive domination. I mean, UTC has not been able to do anything on the offensive line, and Georgia Southern's been handling them up front.
Let's check in with Rashawn Ali with Jeff Monken.
All right, thank you so much, Darren. Here with Coach Jeff Monken. That last drive, how important was it to get in the score before halftime to shift the momentum?
Well, I think it was certainly important. It's a whole lot different when it's 14-7 or 17-7 if we had gotten a field goal in 21-7, especially because we've got to kick off the second half.
How do you alter your coverage defensively with Terrell Robinson, their young freshman quarterback, who he comes out of the pocket. He runs a little bit more than B.J. Coleman would.
He does. We've got to do a better job containing him on the edge. He's getting outside and beating our contain, and that's not good. He can run good. You're right.
All right, good luck in the second half, Coach. Darren?
Defensive adjustments will be needed for both sides as Chattanooga tries to figure out a way to stay effective with Robinson. And Georgia Southern tries to counter that, but they're on top by a couple of scores. Stay with us. Halftime coming up from Paulson Stadium. It's the top-ranked team in the land leading Chattanooga 21-7 with the Southern Pride Marching Band of Georgia Southern getting set to entertain.
Written in 1980, here is Any Way You Want It.
Plenty more coming up from the half at Paulson Stadium, including a chat with the head coach of the Eagles basketball program, C.Y. Young, as we bring you back to Statesboro right after this on the SoCon Sports Network. A quick scoring drive for Georgia Southern late in the half pushed the Eagles' lead back up to 2 touchdowns as we bring you back to Paulson Stadium and check in down on the sidelines with Rashawn Ali.
All right, thank you so much, Darren. Here with Stephanie Singleton, of course. She does our features every single week for these games of the week. What do we have on tap for today?
Well, clearly we're in the heart of football season.
Oh, yeah.
But basketball is right around the corner. So today I'll be joined by men's head basketball coach Charlton Young. Entering his 3rd season with Georgia Southern, he's no stranger to Hanner Fieldhouse. From 1989 to 1993, CY, as he's known, started 97 straight games at point guard for the Eagles. And in April 2009, through his recognizable smile and a few tears, CY accepted his first coaching job at his beloved alma mater. So now, I welcome Coach Young today, sir.
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. Beautiful day out here in Statesboro, Georgia. I'm a Georgia Southern guy, so our football team is #1 in the country. No better place to be than Statesboro, Georgia on a Saturday afternoon.
Absolutely. You guys have a big event coming up on October 21st. Talk about that.
We have our Meet the Basketball Eagles, our Basketball Madness. We get an opportunity to showcase our young talent. We have a very, very talented young team led by 2 seniors, Willie Powers and Ben Drayton, who I think have a chance to be all-conference performers. We have a talented group of freshmen that are now sophomores, led by Eric Ferguson, who was one of the top 25 rated freshmen in the country. Jelani Hewitt, who led the nation in steals with all freshmen, and Marvin Bainham. So we're excited about our talented team, and we want to get everybody out to come out and really get to know our young talent in the program.
Great. Now, you're a big recruiter. How difficult is it to recruit to a school that is #1 in football?
Not difficult at all. I've been at football schools as an assistant at Auburn and Georgia Tech, and the football program and all the athletic programs work hand in hand. So our football program being #1 in the country, it's a huge cherry on top in terms of us being able to recruit and get people to come down and just enjoy the environment.
Now, we saw some footage of you playing with the Eagles back in the early 90s. Talk about what it feels like to coach at your alma mater.
It's a dream come true. I hope they didn't show too much of the small shorts I used to wear. But when I finished playing here in '93, I had an eerie feeling that I would come back and be the head coach here. So I love this university, the way this university has evolved. I'm proud of it. When I was here, we were 8,000 to 10,000. Now we're 20,000 strong. And this thing is growing, and this is a really, really special place. I think over the next 5 to 10 years, with the leadership of President Keel, we're going to grow into a major force in the country. So it's a good time to be a Georgia Southern Eagle.
You consider this the Georgia Southern University. Why do you say that?
Well, I'm just a firm believer that there's no place like us. And I've coached at a ton of different universities trying to get back here to be the head coach. And when I was at those places, it really made me realize how special the Georgia Southern University is as a university. The community, the people, the nicest people in the world live in Statesboro, Georgia. So if you cut me open, I bleed Eagle Blue, and I guess I can't help but talk about it when I get an opportunity to.
Great. Thank you so much, Coach. We're looking forward to October 21st. Darren, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Stephanie. A lot of schools around the country getting set for basketball season. There you see it, Midnight Madness on the 21st. November 11th, basketball season starts up in Hanner Fieldhouse. If C.Y. Young can get this basketball program rolling again, you think it's rocking here at Paulson Stadium. Hanner Fieldhouse can be one tough place to play for Georgia Southern opponents. Back at the half right after this.
Thank you so much.
That's the Bullock Park and Rec Youth Football League entertaining us at the half here at Statesboro, where Georgia Southern The top-ranked team in the land bounced back from a late touchdown drive from Chattanooga when it looked like the Mocs were going to take the momentum back in this game and scored an extra one themselves for a 21-7 lead with Doug Chapman. I'm Darren Goldwater. An impressive first half for Georgia Southern, particularly right there at the end.
Very impressive. They showed their quick strike ability, able to get the football in the end zone in less than 2 minutes, not even throwing it, by running the football in. And you watch how they're up 21-7 now at the break. A little underneath draw misdirection to Dominique Swope. He gets to the secondary, barely touched, walks to the end zone. Then Jay Beauchamp, he finds J.J. Wilcox in the flats, dumps it off, and Wilcox does the rest, makes guys miss, runs over top of defenders. B.J. Coleman goes down. Terrell Robinson comes in to spell him, the freshman. Puts a little drive together, gets it in, gets some points on the board, but then right back comes Georgia Southern. Jay Beauchamp, quarterback sneak, puts the big fellas up 21-7.
All right, let's take a look at the first half stats. The thing that jumps out to me, third down conversions for Georgia Southern and rushing yards heavily in favor of the Eagles.
198-29. That's what they do at Georgia Southern. They want to come out and run the football. But UTC has to do a better job of moving the football via the run. They have not been able to do it via the pass or the run. They've got to find some consistency on offense in the second half. It could be a very long football game.
And in order to find that consistency, they might have to find it with that redshirt freshman Robinson.
So they're going to have to find it. We're not sure how bad Coleman is hurt or if he's actually out for the game or just nicked up. So I expect to see Robinson in the second half. You heard Coach Monken say he's able to hurt us with his legs and his arm. Dual threat quarterback, can get on the corner, break, contain. If they can't find a way to stop him, he may be able to bring this UTC team back in the second half, make it a little interesting.
And wouldn't that be a story if the redshirt freshman Robinson can bring Chattanooga back and beat Georgia Southern for the first time ever for Chattanooga over a top-ranked Georgia Southern team? Second half coming up. We are getting set for the second half from Paulson Stadium. And before we do that, let's go down to Rashawn Ali.
All right, thank you so much. Here with Coach Huseman. B.J. Coleman out. How does Terrell Robinson bring a spark to your offense?
Well, he's athletic. He can run around there, and he really did a nice job in the first half. Other than the fumble when he first got in there, probably some jitters there. I think he pulled out a little bit too quick, but he's athletic. He can get after him. Hopefully we can get him using his feet, get him out on the perimeter a little bit and make something happen.
All right, defensively, how do you slow these Eagles down?
We got to tackle better. We had 2 third downs here. We had them third and long, and a couple of our best players on our football team, they made plays and made us miss, but we got to tackle. I think if we would have tackled, I think we hold them to 2 field goals there.
Thanks so much. Good luck in the second half.
Terrell Robinson led that first scoring drive, and Doug, let's take a look at him right now.
And when you got a guy like this, he's the unknown factor. Georgia Southern wasn't prepared for him, so he's bringing a lot to the table. You see him improvise, almost goes down, is able to get that football away, pitches it to Green, makes something out of nothing. And then you see he sees nothing downfield, pulls the football down, and he can hurt you with his legs. Brings a dimension that Coleman does not have, and you see him use those legs again. He's got good size, 6'3", 200 pounds, falls into the end zone. He brought a little spark for this UTC offense. Hopefully they can keep that spark going into the second half because they've got to get something going offensively to find some type of rhythm, some consistency. They were able to put together a long drive with him in there over 7 minutes. They've got to do that more often. Put some points on the board, make this a football game.
And when he went to the air, he had the right idea. He went for Joel Bradford, the top receiver on his team, one of the top receivers in the Southern Conference, third most in the league, over 87 yards per game. And he's a guy who had more success receiving the football from Robinson than he did from B.J. Coleman.
And what Robinson does is he makes your defense freeze. And what I mean by that, when you have a mobile quarterback, he makes your linebackers freeze because they have to watch him because he may break contain. They have to make the play. When you have linebackers that are frozen, you're going to have receivers running underneath wide open and finding soft spots in the zone. So let's look to see how Georgia Southern accommodates and changes their defense around for this new quarterback that brings in the dimension of mobility.
How tough is it to adjust at the half to something that you haven't worked on all week? I mean, there's so much prep and film goes into every single week. How hard is it to go into the half and say, all right, guys, let's throw all that stuff out, and now let's focus on this?
Hey, you know what? Go ask the ADs that, and he'll say, that's why I pay these coaches. That's why he pays those salaries for them to come out and make these adjustments. And these kids that they've recruited, these great football players they brought in for both teams, that's their job, is to come out and run what the coaches ask them to do. They make adjustments. The athletes execute them.
Billy Greer off to Chaz Moore from the 5. The second half is underway as Moore stumbles his way out close to the 25-yard line. And this is now Terrell Robinson's team. Pretty big spot for the redshirt freshman.
It's a pretty big spot. You know, he's had a year to learn in this system. He redshirted, and I'm not sure if he has a full command of the offense, but the biggest thing, and we talked about it earlier with the offensive line of UTC, you cannot coach experience. You can sit in all the meetings and run all the plays in practice, but you can't coach game experience. And the biggest thing is to see how he reacts to live bullets being fired at him. And this is what he's going to get against Georgia Southern's defense.
And they'll spread it out. It'll be a design draw, and he'll get through Tinsley. And up to Josh Rowe, the second level at the 29-yard line. 5 yards. For an update on B.J. Coleman, we go down to Rashawn Ali.
All right, thank you so much, Darren. Of course, you heard me talk to Coach Huseman about B.J. Coleman. B.J. Coleman will not return. So just like you said, it's Terrell Robinson's team now. Darren?
Doug, that's a big spot, as you just commented on. You're at the #1 team in the country. You're not going to be in a much more hostile environment than this all year. Talk about a learning experience. On 2nd down and 5, he'll try another freshman, Marquise Green, and Green runs into Butler. The strong safety stops him at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and once again, you see that Georgia Southern defense just string out the offense of UTC. And then you cannot run side to side on that defense of Georgia Southern. You've got to run downhill right at them. They've got to find a way to get something going against this defense, because Georgia Southern wants you to run side to side with their type of team speed. They dare you to do it.
It'll be 3rd down and 4. Chattanooga has only converted on 1 3rd down, and here comes Georgia Southern. Robinson has some room and a first down with his legs. Across midfield, Robinson out of bounds at the 44-yard line.
And that goes down in the book as a rush. It doesn't matter how you get it, whether your quarterback does it or your running backs do it. But UTC said they have to run the football. You see Robinson pulls it down, sees nothing, they blitz him, he brings it in. Hey, that's just a football play right here. He's making a play, sees nothing downfield, pulls the ball down and picks up big yardage, moves the chains. It may not be designed that way, but he's moving the football down the field methodically. That's all they asked him to do.
26 yards for him. Now back to Green, a former freshman of the week in the Southern Conference, gets down close to the 35-yard line. LaRon Scott was in on the stop.
One freshman, Robinson pitches to another freshman, Green. We've seen 2 young guys coming of age now, making plays for their team when they need it. And no bigger stage to be on than this one here in Georgia Southern.
I think that 26-yard run is indicative of what we talked about, game planning. They haven't been prepared for this type of quarterback in this game. Fullback to Heron Tyson, first man through, upended by Lavelle Westbrooks, a 15-yard first down run.
And let me tell you something, Darren. When you saw Robinson break container that first play, you saw Green get outside. This is what happens when you're able to move the football. It opens up everything else. Now your linebackers and your linemen have to play a little bit different, a little bit hesitant, and then it opens up a crease, and you see Tyson just slide through and pick up 15 yards.
And suddenly, Chattanooga has rushed for 70 yards in this game. They're averaging less than 60. Here's Robinson, and it is incomplete, nearly picked off.
And honestly, he would have been better pulling that football down and running it. He runs out as great. Look at the coverage by Scott, very physical corner. Great coverage, and just a poorly thrown football to Sloan Allison. He should have just kept that ball and tucked it and got a couple of yards. Very, very lucky that was not an interception.
6 picks a year ago, 1 more this year for LaRon Scott. And it's 2nd down and 10 for J.J. Jackson on the sweep. Jackson's going to dance his way in. Touchdown, Chattanooga.
But did you see the eyes on Terrell Robinson watching him? The defense now has to respect him as a ball carrier. And you see he runs his fake out. Defense is still watching him. He's given the ball to J.J. Jackson to the left, but there's still linebackers and D linemen that are watching Robinson because they know he's a threat to run the football. He's bringing a new wrinkle for this UTC offense that they have not had, but this afternoon has been working for them.
Every yard on that drive, which was 76 yards in length, was on the ground for Chattanooga. And the Mocs are hanging with Georgia Southern here in Statesboro. J.J. Jackson caps it off with the touchdown run, his first of the year. It's 21-14 Eagles. Chattanooga came into this game with an 0-2 Southern Conference record, but they're a better team than that record may indicate. Had opportunities at Appalachian State, a bad snap on a field goal try hurt them. And then at the Citadel, they led 27-0 before that one got away from them in the second half. And this was the big reason why. Chris Billingsley, the junior, blocked it. Rod Harlan runs it in. That made it 27-21. And the Citadel went on to win that thing 28-27 on a play that Russ Huseman called simply a great effort play by Billingsley. But that play and the bad snap on the field goal at Appalachian, those could be the two plays that are the difference between 0-2 in the league and 2-0.
And that's all it takes. It takes sometimes just one play, two close games. But then you don't know what kind of team this is, really. You look at them, and that's how they lost football games. So you're really not sure what UTC is. Let's see if they can show us something this afternoon.
And the defense slow down Georgia Southern. That'll be the question right now as LaRon Scott is tripped up across the 20-yard line. The guy who averages 39 yards a return, limited to 11 yards there.
And a 99-yard kickoff return by him early this year will definitely help boost your average. Good tackle getting him down because he's very, very dangerous in space with the football.
You know, Doug, Coach Huseman said this week, if they can stay away from the big mistakes, he thinks they can be in the game into the fourth quarter with a chance to win.
And that's all any coach asks of his team. If he sees on paper that he's outmatched, he says, just stay with them and give us a chance in the fourth quarter to win the football game.
Jabo Shaw with 57 yards through the air. He's accounted for a couple touchdowns. 3 different Eagles have scored in this game. This is Jarek McKinnon with a club on his right hand, his first carry in a couple of weeks.
We know Mr. McKinnon, he can throw it, he can catch it, and we see on that play how he can run it. They're lucky that he didn't take that to the house. He's probably one of, maybe the most explosive of all of these A and B backs they have been rotated out for Georgia Southern, but nothing fancy. Underneath, little handoff to him. He does the rest. Lucky he was brought down because McKinnon can take it the distance, and DJ Key tracks him down, but not before a huge gain.
Look how heavily that right hand is wrapped. He broke it a couple of weeks ago, did not play last week. This is Robert Brown. Consiglio stops him across the 41-yard line. He actually broke it punching a wall, so in a non-football related injury, and it forced him to miss last week.
And Coach Monken said, he practiced all week and said he was blocking fine. Of course, he can't throw the football. That's on his throwing hand. But he said he's been able to just, he runs the ball, put the ball in your left hand. He's blocking well. And McKinnon said, they asked him how it felt this week. He said, I don't feel any pain at all. Hand feels fine. So he's going to roll with it.
Hard to feel pain through all that wrapping. It is 2nd down and 7 for the Eagles. Chattanooga has touchdowns in each of its last 2 drives, and that's Joshua Williams who wraps up Jabo Shaw. It'll bring up 3rd down and 4.
And this type of defense, the nose guard is instrumental in trying to break up that B-back dive and that quarterback keep. And it's a great job defensively by UTC, just staying with their assignment, filling up those A and B gaps, not allowing Jabo Shaw any space.
Chattanooga has only allowed over 274 yards a game all season long. That's one of the best marks in the country. And they need a big 3rd down stop here. Eagles have converted 6 of 8. Looked like 2 men were in motion there. And this play, well, now it might stand as Shaw is well short of a 1st down, Doug. If you're on that sideline, take the play.
Oh, take the play, absolutely. Don't give him a chance to do it again. Take that play.
Illegal shift, offense, 2 men in motion at the same time. 5-yard penalty, remains third down.
Unless you don't have the option.
And on that play, there
you go. Okay.
There we go. They declined that. That's a smart play by Huseman and staff. But you see they had 2 of the A-backs were both moving at the same time. And the thing with that option is guys have to get to a certain place at a certain time, and you have to be fast about it. So sometimes you'll see a guy's feet will be moving a little bit before the snap. And they were moving a lot before the snap on that play. Referee saw it, throws a flag.
It's a fake. It goes back to Gebhardt, and he's tackled at the 45-yard line by Jeff Ferris.
Hey, and you talked about it. They needed a big stand, just like that. They're back in it. They get the ball back at the 45-yard line of Georgia Southern. UTC's in business right now. They were able to move the football last drive. Didn't have to field a deep punt and work with a long field. So now they've got a short field to work with and some momentum. Only down by 1 score. Let's see what they can do with it.
A defensive-minded head coach, Russ Huseman, who was, as I mentioned, at Richmond when they won a national championship as a defensive coordinator. And his special teams makes a big play on what was a very risky call from Monken.
Always prepared for the fake punt. Always. That's a great job. Great job by UTC. Listen to this crowd. Crowd is finally back in it, aren't they?
20,000 strong. They'll roll Robinson out, and Robinson will keep it inside of the 40-yard line. Tackled by Westbrooks. It's a 9-yard run.
He can break contain like the best of them. You see he gets out on the outside. There's really nobody there for him for 5 or 6 yards. He's just running. You see they fall. Everyone folds down inside for the run action. John Douglas, when he's down there that deep and Robertson gets that corner, there's no way he's going to get out there by himself. Lucky he had a little bit of help from his teammates, but picks up 9 yards before he's tackled.
61 yards on the ground now for Robinson. 45 through the air, so he's got over 100 total yards now. And look at him elude Georgia Southern defenders before Brent Russell finally catches up. It's a first down run.
And Robinson's not small. We talked about a 6'3", 195. May not be as accurate of a thrower as B.J. Coleman, but you see he's got a little wiggle in him, and defenders just slide off him. Can't get a good shot at him. Before you know it, he's picked up the first down. Just like that, they're moving the football against this Georgia Southern defense again.
This is why sports are great. You can game plan all you want as coaches and as announcers and prepare as well as you can. Nobody had Terrell Robinson coming in and trying to lead a comeback. Going right through Awa was President. He finally brings him down.
Hudson President does a great job just staying with it. Gets back there. We all know how slippery Robinson is. He almost slipped out of that. President knifes through, runs through the block of the running back. I'm a former running back. You hate to see that from Chris Awua, but you got to do a better job to protect your quarterback. But great play by Hudson President, young man from Bradenton, Florida.
International studies major. That was a 15-yard loss. It is second down and 26. So officially a 16-yard loss. And now it's Joshua Rowe who throws him down in the backfield. There's a flag down, however, on the Chattanooga sideline.
Offsides, defense, number 10, 5-yard penalty, replay second down.
To help out a little bit, they brought the blitz, actually, that's on Josh Rowe. He was the blitzer to Robinson's left. And he got there and wonder how he got in the backfield so fast. It always helps if you're a little bit offsides.
Hasn't had a sack this year, although he had an interception last week. So they give back 5 yards. That Georgia Southern defense that they had gained on the sack a few plays earlier. It's 2nd and 21. And Robinson will go back to the air. Pressured here by Javon Mention. He'll launch it deep, and it is picked off by LaRon Scott. Moore was the intended target. Doug, you saw it all the way.
That ball had interception written all over. Another flag down. Let's see if UTC can catch a break. That's holding against them, so they're not going to catch a break. You see this? Fake the run action. And he just lobs this ball up, rolling to his right, throws it back across his body to a left, a no-no in football. And guess who's there? LaRon Scott to pick it off. As soon as he let that ball go, I knew there was nothing good coming out of that one. You can't loft a ball across the middle of a defense, especially not one as good as Georgia Southern's, not expected to be picked off.
And to a guy like LaRon Scott, preseason All-American, that's his second of the year, and the 9th for the Georgia Southern defense, which leads the Southern Conference in that category.
That's not what you want out of that drive. You want to at least attempt a field goal or kick it away. You don't want to turn the football over when you had that momentum on your side. Let's see what they can draw up on the sideline at UTC. See if they can make some better plays offensively.
Jabo Shaw pulls it up across the 10-yard line. Wrapped up there by DJ Key.
We've seen at the end of the first half that the Georgia Southern Eagles can put together a quick striking drive and move the ball long distance down the field with big plays. So let's see what they can dial up here offensively.
Jabo Shaw, who played at Flowery Branch High School for his father at the time, and whose brother was the starting quarterback today for South Carolina. Connor gives it off to Robert Brown, who picks up the first down at the 15-yard line.
Georgia Southern machine just keeps on clicking the same way they've been doing the first half. Hand to the B-back, a little bit of Jabo Shaw around the end, a little bit of Jabo Shaw up the middle. And I wonder when that pitch play is coming.
Brown had 116 yards last week. He's got back-to-back 100-yard games. Right on the money now, 13 carries. And they'll try him one more time, and it's the freshman. Check it, it's Wes Dothard combining with Freeman, the freshman defensive lineman.
And for the most part, UTC has played pretty well defensively. You know, except for a couple big runs, they really haven't given up too many huge plays, considering the talent that Georgia Southern has. UTC's played well. They've been on the field a lot. The offense has kept them on the field a lot this afternoon.
And second half defensively, Chattanooga has had 2 tremendous second halves already this year. They need another one here as Robert Brown tries to break free. And we'll get close. He needs the 25-yard line. Wes Dothard was there. With Doug Chapman, I'm Darren Goldwater. We are in Statesboro, Georgia, at Paulson Stadium, the home of the top-ranked team at the FCS level, Georgia Southern. And they are in a dogfight. And looking at 3rd down and 1 here late in the 3rd quarter.
Watch out for that picks. They've been softening that inside up. Georgia Southern's been softening it up. Let's see what they go with on 3rd down.
It'll be Jabo Shaw. Good enough for a first down to the waiting arms of the junior Ryan Consiglio.
Consiglio, very, very good football player. This UTC mock squad, but made a lot of plays today. It's just when you deal with an offense that doesn't put the ball in the air, it's really hard to get takeaways unless they give them to you, like Georgia Southern put the ball on the ground a couple times. So as a defense, it's frustrating when they're moving the ball, getting 3 yards, 4 yards. There's no chance for an interception or for a sack because they just don't run that style of offense.
Georgia Southern really has cured that ill from early on when they kept putting it on the ground. Shaw feels the pressure, steps up and throws incomplete for Wilcox, who wasn't ready for the pass.
There's been a little miscommunication on the route. Wilcox was looking to break outside. Looks like Jabo was looking for that post coming across the middle or either a drag route. Wilcox is young. One of the younger players on the team, a young junior. When I mean young, playing wise young. They don't throw it a lot. So I mean, it's not a passing offense.
But when they do, they're normally successful. 18 yards of reception. 2nd down and 10, up the score. Brown trying to fight his way through the middle of the line. It's Freeman who's got him around the legs. And it'll bring up 3rd down and long.
This is something that UTC was not able to get Georgia Southern in the first half often, is these 3rd and 5+ situations. You know, look at the face of that young man. Look at that. Talk about a game face.
With the name Gunner.
Gunner Miller. Young man from Chattanooga, Tennessee, is all painted up for the football game. See if he can make a play on this third down.
Best third down defense in the Southern Conference, but Georgia Southern has had success today, but not this time. Wes Dothert brings down Jay Beauchamp.
Wes Dothert brings him down, but we talked about Gunner Miller before the snap. He takes the pitch man out of the equation. Assignment football. They're able to stop Georgia Southern on third down. Now let's see if they decide to punt it. They may go for this. I know the fans want them to.
Last possession, Georgia Southern faked the punt. It didn't work out. Chattanooga had great field position. Now you're looking at 4th down and 1 from your own 37. And the offense stays out there. But they got to hurry, Doug. There's 8 seconds on the play clock.
And I was going to say, let's try to make them jump off side. They don't have enough time on the play clock to do that.
Just get the play off. Jay Beauchamp behind his center, Brandavius Mann. And it all depends on the spot here, Doug.
Yeah, this is going to be, they don't even bring the chains out. Wow.
Circle that play and remember it.
Just a simple quarterback sneak. And when you get all those bodies down there, we're watching the game from up here. I don't even see Jay Beauchamp. I'm not even sure where he is right now. Refs have a better angle than we do, but apparently they saw that he got past the marker. Move the chains for Georgia Southern.
Big 4th down conversion. Now they'll flip it to the freshman Kentrell Showers, and Consiglio drops him just across the 43 yards for Kentrell Showers. You want more comparisons to the triple option at Georgia Tech? Kentrell Showers, his cousin is Demarius Thomas.
Oh yeah, Bebe, they like to call him. Great wide receiver at Tech. You see Showers here. They have so many ways they can get the ball into their ball carriers, their playmakers' hands. And triple option is not a very basic offense that you can only do a certain amount of things. You can do a lot out of this offense, and Georgia Southern definitely shows you how.
Through the middle, Robert Brown trying to break away from Williams. He dragged him for a couple extra yards and very close to the 48, which is what he needs.
Robert Brown, 5'11", 203, 205 pounds. Look at just dragging defenders, dragging a much bigger defender on his back. The guy refusing to go down. And Joshua Williams, a defensive end, hanging off of him and drags him for about 3 or 4 extra yards.
They give him the spot, 1st down. Heck of a drive here for Georgia Southern. It is not only chewing up the clock, which they're now playing to their favor in a 1-score game, but methodically moving down the field. Jay Beauchamp actually gave that one off. Check it, it was still him. Sometimes you can get fooled up here too.
Yeah, you get fooled because he puts that ball into the belly of that B-back, and it's actually up to him whether he keeps it in there or not. If he's watching that end crashes down, he keeps it. So the B-back doesn't even know if he's getting the ball every time in this offense. J-Bo keeps it. Good job by UTC, led by Joshua Williams, defensive end, getting back there and making the stop.
This is the 13th play of the Georgia Southern drive, their longest today by far, and it's back on the turf, and it'll be another loss. What hurt him in the first quarter, ball security, brings up 3rd down and long.
And you know what? I've noticed that the pace for Georgia Southern, that tempo is slowed down a bit. And you see they seem a bit lethargic right now offensively, just kind of going through the motions. And he pulls out, I believe his lineman hit the ball out of his hand. Jay Beauchamp is lucky he's able to fall on that football and keep it for his team.
Chattanooga has allowed 30% conversion rate on 3rd down for the year, but 7 for 11 today. Mocs need a stop here as we wind our way through the 3rd. Shaw, straight drop back, looking for Hickey, and it's overthrown.
Ball was intended for Hickey. Good coverage. Number 22, Jordan Tippett, 6', 205. He climbs the ladder, almost comes down with that football. But hey, UTC's defense did the job again. They've stopped Georgia Southern. Going to give their offense the football back, and let's see if they can dial some plays up again and get some points on the board.
It's kind of deja vu to the Jacksonville game and the Eastern Kentucky game. The defense dials it up in the second half. No 3rd down conversions for the Eagles in this half. Bradford's going to let this one go. And he's fortunate that it gets into the end zone. Chattanooga will begin at the 20. So 15 seconds left in the third quarter. We're going to get another look at the redshirt freshman quarterback Robinson trying to engineer a game-tying drive. That is a shot of downtown Statesboro, Georgia. Blue skies up ahead there. It was the same here at the start of the game. Clouds have rolled in as we take a look at some of the Southern Conference scores around the league today. Wofford was a big winner at the Citadel. Samford with a big win over Furman. First SoCon loss for the Paladins. Western Carolina looking for their first Southern Conference win. We'll see the Paladins here at Georgia Southern next week. And their UCLA transfer quarterback, Chris Forcier. All right, here's Robinson. He's been the story in the second half. And Robinson leapfrogs his way for a first down up to the 34-yard line.
And if Robinson can keep his balance after hurdling a player, he may still be running right now. I'm very impressed with the mobility of this young man. They're going to have to find a way to contain him and make him throw the football to see if he can beat them with his arm. Because right now he's been beating them with his legs so far.
And Chattanooga's defense has been keeping Georgia Southern largely in check. This is a one-score game at #1 ranked Georgia Southern, undefeated on the year. And Russ Huseman's club has the ball when we come back to start the fourth. A one-score game as we begin the fourth with former Marshall University running back Doug Chapman, who went on to a 5-year NFL career. I'm Darren Goldwater. Rashawn Ali is down on the sidelines. And the reason Chattanooga is in this game, nobody would have predicted it. B.J. Coleman out with a shoulder injury. He was knocked out early on in this game. Terrell Robinson has rushed for 63. He has thrown for 45. As a team, Chattanooga, Doug, with 116 yards rushing, second most on the year in a single game for him.
You know, and that's the motto in sports, next man up. B.J. Coleman goes down. Terrell Robinson steps in, and you know, that's what you sit next to the starter for, and that's what you watch the starter and you watch film for, and you study your playbook for, is for moments like this. He didn't expect to be here today, but he's here now, and he's making the most of it.
We've seen the next generation of Chattanooga quarterbacks up across the 35-yard line on first down for Marquise Green. So 87 yards on the ground for Chattanooga in the third quarter after 29 yards in the first half. Remember, they had a drive that was 76 yards all on the ground that led to a score.
And the thing is when you have a dual threat quarterback like that, it opens up everything, because if he can get around the corner, it spreads that defense out, makes it a little softer. You saw a couple of runs on the inside UTC was able to have in the third quarter. That's because Robinson was able to break contain, getting on the edge.
Gebhardt chasing Robinson now, who throws for Anthony, and it's nearly picked off by Scott, who's already got one this game.
Scott has got a bead on Robinson's passes. Robinson's lucky that one wasn't picked off as well. Robinson's got to find a way to be more judicious with the football. He just kind of lofts that one up again into double coverage. Safety over the top corner underneath. Lucky that was not picked off.
Third down and 8 for the Mocs.
And Georgia Southern's going to give him cover 2. Right here, they're going to dare him to throw the football. And some issues lining up.
Chattanooga will take a timeout. First of the second half for either side. And it comes less than 40 seconds into the fourth quarter. Georgia Southern's defense, Doug, has been impressive, particularly in the first half.
Yeah, they've had to, because as of late, UTC's offense has come on, but in the first half, they were just lights out. Defense is too fast, led by a swarm of tacklers. Georgia Southern gets there, makes the play. And then once again, you see Chris Aua brought down to the backfield by Russell. They were in UTC's backfield all afternoon. you see it's a poor block by Awuah. Hudson Presume gets back there. And then Robinson just lofts one across midfield. Ball is picked off by LaRon Scott. You can't throw that ball ever, especially not against a good defense like Georgia Southern's.
Chattanooga's turned it over then twice in the red zone. That ball picked inside the 5. They also fumbled in the first half inside the 15. Georgia Southern took that fumble and led to a scoring drive. 3rd and 8, Georgia Southern brings it. The offensive line protects him well, and it's almost picked. Deion Stanley this time.
And that just shows the inexperience of Robinson. He's got blitz, and they're lined up to protect him. So there's no rush in getting this football off. The play they have designed, the protection is designed to protect him. He's got blitzing on the edges. It's picked up. You sit there in the pocket, scan the field, go through your progression. He does not try to force the football into Joel Bradford. Lucky that one was not picked off, and not just that, picked off for a pick 6. The young man has got to do a better job scanning that field, knowing where the blitzers are coming from and knowing where his offensive line and running backs are protecting him so he doesn't have to force bad footballs.
And this is a fake. It's Joel Bradford, the receiver who's been punting all game, runs for a first down. And Chattanooga does what Georgia Southern could not, executing the fake.
I don't care if you're up or down. I remember all my years of playing football, you always hear from the sideline, watch the fake. Watch the fake. It doesn't matter if you're up by 40 points. And apparently that memo didn't get onto the field for Georgia Southern. It didn't get on there in time because Bradford's able to take it. We know he can run with the football, pick up the first down.
Mike Hammonds is the regular punter for Chattanooga, and he's 2nd in the league, averaging 40 yards a kick. We're told he's fine, and Bradford's just punting anyway. Sure worked out there. Robinson for a yard as Josh Rowe helps out Gebhardt on the stop.
Way Robinson's been just kind of lobbing the ball in the air. Georgia Southern's defensive backs have had chances to pick him off. See if they get a little conservative on this drive and just try to keep it on the ground. They've got to find passing plays that he's comfortable with, or either blocking scheme that he knows he's protected in, so he won't try to force this ball downfield.
And you know Georgia Southern will try and force him into a mistake as J.J. Jackson spins across midfield. It'll bring up a manageable 3rd down situation for the Mocs. Jackson's a guy who missed 3 games this year because of an ankle injury. He came back against the Citadel, touched it 9 times, 7 carries.
3rd downs, we should call these in the NFL money downs. Quarterbacks call these money downs. When you make your money, it's converting 3rd downs into 1st downs. Let's see if Mr. Robinson can make some money on this one.
Maybe making some money in 3 or 4 years. Lobs it out to Jackson, who gets away from Josh Rowe for a first down, pushed out by Eubanks.
It's a good read. They bring the blitz. They're in man coverage. He's able to get that ball out. He sees the hot read, throws it away to his running back in the flats. Lucky he was out of bounds when that ball came out. That would have been a fumble.
Not a lot of guys get away from Josh Rowe. He led Georgia Southern with 104 tackles last year and was a preseason 2nd-team all-conference selection this year. But Jackson did it to move the chains. Design draw for Robinson, cutting back against the grain, and Robinson will be bounced out by Michael Butler. About 3 yards, working inside of the 40. Don't look now, Doug, but Chattanooga is methodically moving this ball against the Eagle defense.
They're doing it again. Butler's got to be careful he doesn't get a late hit out of bounds over there. Chattanooga's right in this football game. They're only down 1 score. You don't want to give them anything cheap. But Robinson, once again, just showing his escapabilities. Very versatile back there, can make people miss, and you've got to really contain and get in front of him, get him on the ground, or he'll hurt you.
2nd and 6. Jackson through the middle of the defense for a first down to the 28-yard line for 11 yards.
J.J. Jackson, the young man from Marietta, Georgia, making a few plays of his own. They were not able to run the ball between the tackles at all early in this game. But Robinson, the way he's been running around, is making those linebackers a little more hesitant. They're not as aggressive. The defensive linemen can't just tee off and rush the passer. They have to be a little more hesitant. That allows the UTC offensive linemen to make blocks. Now they're able to move that football via the run.
They're neutralizing that speed on the defensive side of the ball for Georgia Southern. And again through the middle. Jackson gets down close to the 20-yard line. John Douglas stopped him, the defensive end.
But this is a great run. This has been a great drive so far. But this field position for UTC has been their Achilles heel. The closer they get, the worse their offense gets. They're great in the field, but once they get in scoring range or into the red zone, things just go downhill, and they go downhill fast. They're not able to get any points out of anything yet. Let's see if they've remedied that situation, able to get something out of this drive.
The 11th play of the drive for Chattanooga. And it'll be a play action for Robinson. Robinson will get away and get close to the sticks. He is stopped shy of them by Carlos Cave, the sophomore from Macon, Georgia.
That's just Robinson making a play. There was great coverage on the back end by Georgia Southern. All of the receivers were covered very, very well downfield. Robinson pulls it down and just makes a play, picks up 9 yards.
They hustled to the line. Georgia Southern was confused about the personnel, yet still may have stopped Jackson shy of what he needs, the 18-yard line, and they did. It'll be 4th down and a couple inches.
It's a huge play for UTC offensively and Georgia Southern defensively. Football game Georgia Southern was running away with early. Now just like that, UTC's knocking on their door to score.
44 yards for Jackson, more than double the 35 he had coming into this game total. Not even a full yard needed. It's the fullback Tyson who picks up the 1st down as John Douglas is dragged across the line. The only senior defensive lineman who was listed as a starter who began his career as a fullback.
Terren Tyson gives Georgia Southern's defense a taste of what Georgia Southern's offense has been giving UTC's defense. A little dive play to the fullback. Gets the shoulder pad level down low, picks up the 1st down. Fresh set of downs for UTC. Let's see what they can do with it.
And get a 1st down to the 6. They will try Marquise Green sweeping his way to the right. He gets down to the 11. Again, John Douglas is there for the stop. This drive has featured a 10-yard run on a fake punt to move the chains, and then a 4th down conversion from Terren Tyson right there, as Chattanooga tries to tie the top-ranked team in the land, a team that Jeff Monken called Chattanooga the best team that his Eagles have faced this year, and Chattanooga is giving Georgia Southern their toughest test. Robinson on the keep, gets a block, gets away, touchdown Chattanooga.
And that is what the wrinkle of a mobile quarterback can do to a defense. You never know where he's going to keep it, around the end, up the middle. But when he gets into the secondary, he turns into another running back. He's very slippery, has good size, and we've seen he has great speed. If they put this extra point through, this is a brand new football game.
2nd touchdown of his career and of the day for Terrell Robinson. And the boot is through from Pollard. The top-ranked team in the land on the ropes from a Chattanooga team that could very well be 2-0 in the league already. Jeff Monken said they might be desperate for a victory. They're playing well either way. A 16-play, 80-yard drive ties the game as we check in with Rashawn Ali.
All right, guys, I'm down here on the Chattanooga bench, and I'm looking at Terrell Robinson, and it is electric. These guys are ready to turn this game around. They have done that, up 21-21. And, you know, earlier in the week, Houston said he uses Georgia Southern's 2010 team as motivation. They started the season at 4-4, but that team continued to get better. They made a playoff run, and that's what he wants for this team, and they have gotten better even today. Darren?
Couldn't have said it any better, Rashawn. He has stressed it all week. Even the Georgia Southern side said Chattanooga this year is similar to the way they were last year.
You talk about a team rallying around the backup quarterback. A lot of teams would have folded tent. Called it quits when B.J. Coleman went down, but Robinson comes in and teams rallied around him.
There's Darian Robinson from the 11 to the 33, 34. 23 yards for Darian Robinson. And now this Chattanooga defense is back out onto the field. Doug, you have to believe this Chattanooga defense is feeling more and more confident. They have really shut down this Georgia Southern offense here in the second half.
They started to figure out this Georgia Southern offense. They had some issues in the first half, gave up a few big plays, but in the second half, they really buckled down, made plays when it counted, and got off of the field on third down. See if they can keep that up, because right now it's a brand new ball game. All knotted up at 21, so everyone has to play picture perfect from here on out.
Only 67 yards rushing this half for Georgia Southern. Darian Robinson gets a good block, knocking down Kadeem Wise, but he's able to get back up, make the stop. Not before a first down run for Robinson.
Ball security right now is paramount. You see Robinson had both hands on that ball toward the end of that play, but one turnover right now could be monumental in a game like this.
They're over 100 yards shy of their season average because of the defense here in the second half. They had almost 200 in the first half. Shaw gives it off to Darian Robinson one more time. DJ Key, the free safety, the first one to hit him at the 49-yard line.
If you don't think that UTC wants that ball back there, pulling at that ball every time they get to the ball carrier. Once again, Georgia Southern's coming out, doing what they do best, just running that ball, give it to the B back, give it to the A backs. Haven't really seen many plays on the perimeter in this half. Let's see if they try to get on outside and use some of that speed to test this UTC defense out.
If you're Chattanooga, you should be swiping at the ball. 4 fumbles this game for Georgia Southern, although they've only lost one of them. A huge crease for Robert Brown. He's got breakaway speed. Tippett will grab the ankle and take him down inside of the 5, saving a touchdown. The captain, Jordan Tippett.
Well, just as we talked about UTC's, that moccasin defense had buckled down. See J-Bo Shaw takes the snap out of the gun, hands it right underneath to Robert Brown, and he does the rest. High steps through one tackle, fights his way down. Jordan Tippett finally brings him down at the 3-yard line, but not before another one of those big explosive runs by this Georgia Southern offense.
46 yards for Brown. He's knocking on the door of a new career high. J-Bo Shaw will keep it himself and not get in. Stuffed by the big freshman Josh Freeman, the 270-pounder from Atlanta.
UTC's defense once again is playing tough down here by the goal line. See if Georgia Southern can punch this one in.
Anxious moments here at Paulson Stadium. I think Brandavius Mann had moved the ball himself. We've seen Shaw sneak it in from about this position earlier in the game, and he'll do so again. Over right guard William Maxwell. Touchdown Georgia Southern, and the Eagles have retaken the lead.
You said it, Maxwell, Mann, DeBartola Jr., and Bird. That offensive line has been working hard all afternoon, and J-Bo Shaw, nothing fancy here, just gets behind those big guys. Puts his head down, covers that ball up. Easy quarterback sneak for Georgia Southern. Or makes it look easy. How about that?
With that offensive line, it just about is. Moore has never missed in his career. He makes it a 7-point game. And yet another opportunity for the freshman Terrell Robinson, as Paulson Stadium will surely become a frenzy with 6:50 left and the Eagles up by 7.
Saturdays this fall on GPB, there's football in the air, Southern style with Southern Conference football. Catch all the hard-hitting action of your favorite NCAA teams Saturday at 3.
Number 1, Georgia Southern bounces back with a 5-play scoring drive, Doug, and Jabo Shaw caps it off.
Jabo Shaw caps it off, but it gets started right here on the end. Nice little picks play, gets it out to his running back, Robinson, picks up good yardage, and then Robert Brown, right on cue. We asked where the big play was, and he gives it to us, delivers it, brought down by Tippett at the 3-yard line, and Jabo Shaw caps it off with the 1-yard quarterback sneak, puts Georgia Southern up 28-21.
Brown is now 9 yards away from a career-high tying 178 yards on the day. And there's a similarity in the Georgia Southern scoring drives. Most of them are quick. The longer drives have tended to favor the Mocs defense. It'll be Marquise Green, the freshman, inside of the numbers and across the 25, an 18-yard return. And back out comes the Mocs offense. If you're just joining us, B.J. Coleman out early on in the first half with a shoulder injury. Has not come back, and that has led to the emergence of Terrell Robinson, who's thrown for 51 yards. He has rushed for 81 and a couple of touchdowns. The latest tied the game at the time early on in this final quarter.
And they're going to test Mr. Robinson's arm on this one. Make him move the ball down the field with his arm. They know he can run it.
Jackson can't get away from Josh Rowe. Darius Eubanks helps out.
They're going to stack that box, bring that extra man down, and make Mr. Robinson throw the football. They know that he can run, and it opens up some other things in the running game. So Georgia Southern's going to play a lot of blue shirts around that line of scrimmage.
No gain on the first down carry. Chattanooga trying to avoid an 0-3 start in the Southern Conference and the first 3-game losing streak in the Russ Huseman era. Eagles trying to remain perfect on the year and keep the top spot in the polls, where they've been for the last 4 weeks. Timeout, Chattanooga. Coming up next week, we are back here in Statesboro. The Furman Paladins will come to town for the SoCon Game of the Week. The top-ranked FCS team, Georgia Southern, assuming they win this one, and the Furman Paladins in the high-powered offense led by Chris Forcier and Gerard Williams. Tune in next week, see who'll claim the top spot in the Southern Conference. All the action here at 3 o'clock Eastern on the SoCon Sports Network. There you see B.J. Coleman. Good to see that. A leader who's injured back on the field on headsets.
You see him moving around that right shoulder, gingerly his throwing arm. No ice on it at the moment. Hopefully it's just something that's put him out for this game, and he'll be back because he's huge for this offense. But at the same time, they've been able to see what Mr. Robinson can bring to them from the quarterback position.
Robinson keeping this play alive himself, dumps it over the middle to his tight end, Shafat. And Shafat's got a first down up to the 38 with Eubanks in coverage.
That's just staying alive with your legs. Terrell Robinson sees nothing downfield, looks to his left, scrambles, looks back to his left again. Then he finally found Shafat dragging across the field. He beats his man, and man coverage is able to get away from Darius Eubanks long enough for him to pick up enough for the first down.
Only the 9th catch of the year for the redshirt freshman out of Orlando. And a design draw for Robinson, who gets a block from Jackson, although Rowe popped right off of that block and stops him after a gain of 5.
That quarterback draw, and I see big yardage out of it, but if I'm an offensive coordinator calling that play is designed to make those linebackers have something else to think about when we decide to go play action, or if we run the ball another direction. It's going to make those quarterbacks always look to find where is 17. But if they lose him, he can get by you. If he distributes that ball to someone else, they can get by you as well.
This is Marquise Green. Tough to get to the outside on this Georgia Southern defense. It was Blake O'Reilly, the sophomore, on the stop.
You said it, Blake Riley, defensive tackle from Crescent, Georgia. Runs well from sideline to sideline.
Russ Huseman has never been at the helm of Chattanooga when they have faced the Eagles at number 1. But Huseman was at Chattanooga when the Mocs were dominant. A defensive back in the late 70s into the early 80s, and his motto has been for all 3 years, restore the glory to Chattanooga. 3rd down and 3. Up the middle and not enough. Big Blake Riley was in to take the ankles out from J.J. Jackson. And decision time for the Mocs on 4th and 1.
Big decision, and they made it quickly. No punting unit is coming on the field. Robinson's still out there. A lot of confidence in this young quarterback. If you see, they're 100% on 4th down this afternoon.
Paulson Stadium comes to life. It'll be a read option and a 1st down for Robinson, who nearly got away. Michael Butler may have saved a touchdown when he got a hand on him at the 40-yard line. He's down to the 36 for 11 yards.
And he's such a long strider. He reminds me of Colin Kaepernick, who's now with the San Francisco 49ers. Long upright runner, long strider, very deceptive speed. And once he gets going, it's like people just bounce off of him. Has very, very good size. And it's effective. May not have had the best afternoon throwing the football, but you see he slides through and makes plays and has kept his football team in it.
Sloan Allison, the tight end, in motion. Blocking for Robinson, who rolls out this way. And Robinson will be wrestled down close to out of bounds by Deion Stanley. That was almost a late hit.
Lucky once again they didn't get a late hit on the quarterback. Usually they protect those guys when they get close to the boundaries, but you see he scrambles out and he's well into the white area when he's brought down by Deion Stanley. I'm very surprised they did not throw a flag on that.
108 yards for Terrell Robinson on 20 carries. As a team, Chattanooga had eclipsed 100 yards only twice this season. Marquise Green stutters his way through the line and inside of the red zone. It's LaRon Scott on the stop after a 13-yard run.
I'm telling you, you see it when Robinson is able to get outside and break contain. It makes those linebackers by nature a bit cautious. Then you can see Marquise Green just get in there and get inside where the linebackers should be. They're staring at number 17, who doesn't have the football, and Green is right by them for a big pickup. Just like that, they're inside the 20.
And Doug, you want points here, but you don't want to score too fast. They'll try the right side with Marquise Green, and he's wrapped up by Gebhardt, the sophomore from Douglasville, Georgia, who was an all-freshman team member last year.
And with the issues they've had scoring once they get down here, I'll take points as fast as I can get them if I'm UTC, because they've been hard to come by down here.
Entering the game, we touched on it. 47% touchdowns in the red zone, 9 for 19. They've gotten better once Robinson has been under center. Up the middle, a hole for J.J. Jackson, and Butler takes him down at the 5. It'll be 1st and goal.
But do you see the eyes of the defensive players staring at number 17? They're staring at Robinson every time he hands that football off, and that little bit of hesitation is what's enabling that inside to open up. You have a mobile quarterback, you have to account for him at all times. And by them accounting for him means they have to find where he is, and right when they're finding him, the running back squirting right past him.
Robinson calls his own number and scores for the 3rd time today. Chattanooga's a point away from a tie game with less than 2 minutes left.
Now, Darren Goldwater, if you would have told me coming into this football game that B.J. Coleman's going to go down and a guy we haven't even scouted or really heard of is going to come in and have the game of his life, and it'll be a tie football game almost, with under 2 minutes left in the 4th quarter against this Georgia Southern football team, I would have called you crazy, brother.
Chattanooga has called a timeout, and Here's Mr. Robinson,
Here
Doug.
he is again, that long strider, good speed, gets upfield, and just slithers through the defense, jumps in for his 3rd rushing touchdown of the afternoon.
A season high on the ground for Chattanooga, 238 yards. The redshirt freshman Robinson, 114 on 21 carries. Earlier this week, Jeff Monken kept harping on the fact that Chattanooga could run the ball effectively. Every previous game said something completely to the contrary, that was the one thing Chattanooga really was having a hard time doing.
I think Coach Monken may have had a crystal ball to see the future and saw this young quarterback coming out and slicing them up on the ground. I'm very surprised at this rushing attack, especially surprised it's coming from the quarterback.
And Chattanooga has called their final timeout here before this point after attempt, and it makes you wonder. The offense is coming back onto the field. They're going for the win on the road, Doug.
You know what? This is guts by your coach and confidence in your squad. This is confidence in who you got out there. Now let's see if they can get the right guys out there. And confidence in your quarterback that they can get the job done. Now the question is, what play do they dial up?
Game is on the line.
Run pass option.
To Heron, Tyson with the block. Robinson in the grasp, and Georgia Southern's defense stands tall, preserving a 1-point lead.
Now, do I like the gutsiness of the play call? Yes. Would I have called that as a coach? No. The way the defense has been able to bend but not break, I'm going to let them play football and tie this football game up. But they go with the low snap, they give him a run pass option. But before he even gets that option, Rowe is in there, gets on him. Robinson had no chance on that play.
Chattanooga cannot stop the clock. They can obviously attempt an onside kick, which is something they will need to recover in order to win this football game or give themselves a chance.
And honestly, I can understand what Coach Hausman and company were thinking. We've got the momentum. Our quarterback's hot. Let's keep it rolling, see if we can get this 2-point conversion. I understand what he's thinking, but if he had a chance to do that over again, he's probably going to tie this football game up, kick the ball off deep, let his team play defense. And if it goes to OT, he knows his team can make plays as well. So,
hindsight. Yeah, if you had to do it all over again.
Oh, yeah.
But I tell you, he's had some gutsy calls. A couple of 3 4th-down conversions, a fake punt converted as well. His Chattanooga team has taken strides in the right direction. And they need one more big play from their special teams.
How big was that play by Josh Rowe, though? Huge stop on that 2-point conversion.
This is Mike Hammonds, usually the punter. It's his first appearance today. And the ball's free. And I think Georgia Southern's got it. They do. Georgia Southern comes away with the onside kick. All they've got to do is take a knee. And the Eagles will likely be #1 for a 5th straight week when we return to Statesboro because of a defensive stand on a 2-point try.
And Tyler Sumner comes up with this football. You know, good kick gives the Moccasins a chance. Sumner goes forward, actually hits it, then falls on it. But I tell you,
what could have been for that man?
What could have been, but I think he learned a lot about his team today. They fought. He found out his backup quarterback can play some football. Got to work with him throwing that ball a little bit. That offensive line protecting a little bit better, but there's always something learned even if you lose a football game.
And the way that this team was able to make a charge back, Chattanooga, without their leader on the field, speaks volumes not only about the leadership on the field, but the moxie of a young redshirt freshman quarterback.
The moxie of the young moccasin. He comes off the bench. I'm sure he wasn't expecting any of this. Comes in and has the game of his young collegiate career life so far, but they've got a lot to build on. They're going to go down 0-3 in the conference, which does not look good on paper. But you look at the way they lost their last 3 games. 2-point loss to Appalachian State, 1-point loss to Citadel, another 1-point loss here. They played 3 of the tougher teams in the SoCon very, very well. Game came down to the end. Last week, Citadel, maybe they gave it away in the 3rd quarter. But they got a lot to build on. They've got to get Coleman healthy, see where they are offensively, and just make some adjustments. Defensively, they played well against a very, very good Georgia Southern unit.
For Chattanooga, it will likely take 5 wins in their last 5 games to make the playoffs, get that 7 wins that you need. Meanwhile, for Georgia Southern, the Eagles will improve to 5-0. They're already 4-0 in the Southern Conference, and they held off an unbelievable comeback attempt from Chattanooga. We can talk all we want about Terrell Robinson, about the comeback. It wouldn't have happened had the defense not risen to another level for Chattanooga in the second half as well. But tip your cap to Georgia Southern.
Tip your cap to Georgia Southern, and Coach Monken called it. He said this will be the best team we've played all year. And they played them the best they've been played all year, so he called it.
He called not only the best team they've played, somehow he knew that Chattanooga was going to find a way to run the football. He may not have thought it would have been this way. And he admitted as much going into the locker room that they had to make some adjustments as Rashawn Ali now catches up with the victorious coach, Jeff Monken.
All right, thank you so much, Darren. Here with Coach Monken. Coach Monken, you got to talk about the resiliency of your team being able to pull out this win.
I was really proud of that effort right there on the 2-point conversion. We sure didn't make it easy on ourselves, but the kids did a great job getting that stop when we needed it.
That was big for Josh Rose, so that was awesome. You said you don't worry about being number 1. It only lasts 1 week, but it has to feel good to probably be number 1 for the 5th week in a row. Come on.
What does it mean? It doesn't mean anything till the end of the year. We won this game. That's all that's important. We're going to try to get ready for next week and do the best we can next week, and that's all you can do. You worry about the rankings at the end of the year.
Well, congratulations on a big win, a tough win, and we'll see you here next week.
Thanks so much.
All right, Darren, back to you.
Doug, I don't know about you. I love the composure and the attitude of Jeff Monken. The way that he handles himself and goes about it week by week, records, rankings, doesn't matter. Let's accomplish a goal week by week.
Spoken like a true coach in that Paul Johnson mold. Take it 1 game at a time. Get the job done each week. Who cares about the rankings? They only matter at the end of the year.
Well, right now, they're number 1, and us media folk can care about it. Eagles survive 28-27. And we're back to Statesboro after this. Georgia Southern comes away with a 1-point victory. Jabo Shaw, a big reason why the senior who transferred in from Georgia Tech, directing this triple option offense, counts for 3 touchdowns, and he joins Rashawn Ali.
Yes, here with Jabo Shaw. Jabo, you have to talk about this win. Did you come in here feeling like you had something to prove to avenge last year's loss to the Mocs?
Well, we knew they were a very good football team. You know, they played us tough up there, and, of course, they played us tough tonight. So, you know, a win's a win, especially we'll take it any day of the week. So it wasn't very pretty, but like I said, a win's a win.
When you say it wasn't very pretty, you guys started off a little slow with ball security. Did it take a little while for you guys to settle in?
Yeah, you know, not taking anything away from UTC. You know, they're a very good football team, and we just were careless with the football in the first half, and we definitely can play better. But like I said, a win's a win, and we'll go on to next week.
Well, you know, it's a really big day for the Shaw brothers. Your brother Connor had a big game with South Carolina, and then you get this win. I mean, what's the conversation going to be like when you guys talk tonight?
Oh, I'm just a proud big brother. You know, I'm so excited for him and glad they got the win, and it's a good day for the Shaw family.
All right. Well, you know, you got a big game next week with Furman. What do you do to prepare for Furman?
You know, like I said, Furman's a very good football team, and we know that. So we're definitely going to have to go back and prepare on tomorrow and Monday and get ready for Furman because they're going to bring their best, of course. So we definitely got to get ready.
Well, congratulations on a big win here today, Jabo.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you next week. Darren, back to you.
All right, Rashawn, thank you very much. Jabo Shaw helps his team avoid a valiant upset bid from the Mocs of Chattanooga. And Georgia Southern stays perfect on the year. Back to Statesboro to wrap this up right after this. Fans exiting Paulson Stadium can exhale a little bit. Their Eagles remain perfect by the slimmest of margins thanks to a defensive stand on a 2-point conversion with 1 minute and 44 seconds left. Coach Huseman went for the victory, Doug, and it didn't work out his way, but Chattanooga and Coach Huseman learned a lot about their football team.
Learned a lot about their team and their young quarterback. They go for the 2-point conversion. Quarterback had the hot hand, couldn't pull it off. I know he wished he could have that back again. That may have been the difference in this football game, but that's the confidence he has in this team. Terrell Robinson played great down the stretch. You want to put the ball in the guy that has the hot hand. Just they came up a little short.
Meanwhile, for Georgia Southern, Jeff Monken has talked often about trying to get better every week. You look at the stats, you see the results, and it's tough to find where you can get better. He's going to have some teaching points out of this one.
He has some teaching points. He wanted his guys to tackle better coming into this game. They didn't tackle Mr. Robinson very well, so they're going to have to work on that. He also said this will be the best team that they've faced all year, and looked at it on paper before this matchup. You would not have agreed after watching this game. You would say, I see where you're coming from. They need to stop the run. They were not able to handle a mobile quarterback, which showed that Georgia Southern does have a flaw on defense. If your quarterback can move, you can pick up some yardage against the Eagles.
They're going to see another mobile quarterback next week in Chris Forcier, but right now, Georgia Southern remains on top of the Southern Conference standings. The Eagles are one of 2 undefeateds left. Furman lost today to Samford, and it'll be the Paladins here in Statesboro on the SoCon Sports Network next week. Couple of winless teams at the bottom of the league, including Chattanooga. Doug, you and I both agree they're better than that record. One thing we learned today, and I think we learned last week with the Citadel's comeback victory over Chattanooga, we've got a lot of football left in the Southern Conference. It's going to be tough for a team, even Georgia Southern, to get through this league without a loss.
Right, and you said it. UTC may be the best 3-loss conference team in all of FCS football. Their last 3 losses against Appalachian State, the loss of the Citadel last week, and today to Georgia Southern. Tough losses, close football games, but you said it's going to be a very tough conference to get through unscathed. So whoever does make it out, going to have a great shot at the national championship.
Yeah, there's no question about that. This is a conference that is accustomed to sending people deep into playoff runs. Georgia Southern made the semifinals last year. They were the final team standing in the Southern Conference, which put 3 teams late into the playoffs last year. And right now, the Eagles, not only atop the polls, atop the Southern Conference, they're positioning themselves well for the championship run once again, or at least going deep into the playoffs. So, Doug, final thoughts on this one. Georgia Southern escapes Chattanooga with some things that they can build off. Still, it remains undefeated and no wins.
Yeah, Georgia Southern comes out, runs the football well like they always do. They played well on defense at times, had some issues with the quarterback. Secondary played great. They've just got to find a way to stop a mobile quarterback, stop shooting themselves with the turnovers. They'll be the team to beat.
All right, so Chris Forcier comes to town next week, a guy who heading into the game this week with Samford had 12 touchdown passes and no interceptions. The final score today, 28-27. Georgia Southern wins. Join us next Saturday when we return to Statesboro to see the Furman Paladins take on the Georgia Southern Eagles at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. Special thanks to the Southern Conference, the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, and Georgia Southern University. Thank you for joining us today for the SoCon Game of the Week. For Rashawn Ali, Stephanie Singleton, and Doug Chapman, and our entire crew, I'm Darren Goldwater. See you next week right back here in Statesboro.